Let's spin it. Good mixture here, folks. We also do have a new overlay for those who may have missed it. We have an El Pollo Diablo overlay for the 4-3 games. All right, little Bonnie Cronch percent. He's completely passed out next to me, so this ought to be an interesting run here. So cool. All right, Bonnie gets to kick us off with a run. I think she'll be happy when I wake her up. So let's get that off of the wheel and marked in here. Hang on, let me see if I can punch her down here really quick. Oh, she just picked her head up. But she was just completely, like, hanging off the side of the bed here. But, I mean, maybe she's just, Oh, there she goes. I don't know, she's maybe just, you know, she'll be very hyper when she sees it. She'll be like, oh, let's go. This could be a very sleepy treat. But we shall see. All right. I do need to go run and get the treat here, so quick BRB. Okie dokie. Bonnie is in position. She is wide awake now. Happy to report. Unsurprisingly. We keep these in like a little like plastic bin thing, and as soon as that noise came through, she was like, go on, say more. Hey Grubby, good evening. Just in time for a Bonnie speedrun. Little Cronch percent. So she had a pretty slow go of it the past couple of these, so I'm kind of interested to see how she does on this one. Again, she's been very sleepy today, but that could just make her all the more powerful. Only one way to find out. Let me just get the splits up here. There we go. Good luge music on here. Okay, so if you're new here, perhaps you are, this is my dog Bonnie. She is going to be eating a treat as quick as possible. Her best possible time has been a 6 flat. We'll see how it goes. Hey Snooster, yeah, just in time. So what I'm going to do here is we're going to give her the treat. All systems go. Here we go. Just gonna inspect it quick. Good, smart move. There we go. She gently takes it, and time begins. Go ahead, Bon. Okay, hang on. I think she was kind of like wondering, like, am I going for it? Yeah. We restart the timer there for when she fully engages there. I think she was kind of like, is this for real right now? It's 5 o'clock somewhere, Bon. So, it's a little bit dark down here. Let's see if I can get us a little bit more light. But off she goes. There we go, a little bit more light there. So she's working the curl here first. Pretty smart move. It's kind of naturally sitting on the ground like this. So this is a pretty good approach, I think. Oh, Ziggles, thank you very much for 5 months. Hello, hello. With a Prime, no less. You only get one of those. Thanks for using it here. Welcome back, Ziggles.
Hi everyone, D.
Joining us here on a Bonnie Cronch percent run. She's doing pretty good on this right now. She's got a little kind of like fold in the bed. I don't know if you can really see it from the angle we're at here in the lighting situation. But she's made kind of a divot where kind of the cloth is like folding over itself a little bit. So it's actually standing straight up. You can see the wide stance here. But yeah, working it there. The back area there is really good for Bonnie. That's where she kind of grinds up the treat. She's making pretty good work of this, I think. Again, she came into this quite sleepy, so we'll see how quickly she's able to kind of warm up. I don't know if she's intending to do this. She's kind of moving this thing over, trying to get the right angle. But it's good stuff here. Very good stuff. Right, Commander Robin, no worries. Thank you for the well wishes. Hope you're having a good one. Pizza time submitted out. I would love. So I did actually briefly look into. I think I might have talked about this before, but I did look into bringing Bonnie to UKSG. But the hotel that it's hosted at does not allow any pets. Otherwise, I would bring her for the runs. A little late night Bonnie action as we get through there. So that's too bad, but maybe that menu will change at some point. If it wasn't so wild and crazy to get her across the ocean, again, I would bring her to GDQ. When I was at AGDQ last time, there was like I don't know, it must have been like a dog meetup or something in the hotel lobby. It was excellent. There were dogs everywhere. This geyser's a very short woman. Could be. She has a lot of human features, that's for sure. She's a little bit of a drama queen, this dog here. We'll play that up. She'd be a contender, that's true. Maybe I could pitch it that way. Like, this isn't just a person staying at your hotel. This is the talent, as it were. Realistic world record PB. I don't know. The thing is, each of these are going to be different. The ears are slightly different sizes. They've got unique curls and bits and pieces to them. So you got to get a good seed. So with a smaller ear, I bet you could really cut this time down, but it sort of depends. This one's a pretty standard size, although I think the way it's arranged is pretty favorable. But I will say, after the past couple, I think she's gone 3 or 4 Cronch percents now without a PB. So I think that the 6-minute mark that we've got here is a pretty good effort. So it's worth noting that the 6-minute mark we're running against is legit run. Assisting with speedruns, that's right. That's true, yeah, I could, yeah. Yeah, she's kind of, not showing us too much of what she's doing at the moment. You can see that she's flipped to the other side of this thing. You can see that the side that's sticking out that we can see has been chewed quite heartily here. So she's kind of flipped over to the other side, maybe just kind of like working around the corner. There's a good shot of what we have here. She has cut it down quite a bit. We're not going to PB on this one. There's the 6-minute mark. Just, again, to show you how the the high mark that she set for herself a while back. I'm curious. I'm going to switch this against the average and just see how we're doing against average. So 8:47 is her average time. We'll leave that one up and see how she's doing. Could this be a task? Yeah, perhaps. think she's gonna finish this pretty soon here. Like, I think that was a tactical move, kind of like spinning the whole thing around so everything's like loosened up, because I think then she starts working on the middle and then it just kind of falls apart. It's kind of smart. Pick up the little pieces. Don't want to miss any tasty bits. That is for certain. What was her slowest time? Let's see what that was. 13 and a half. Okay, we're definitely going to finish before that. Still might be able to get ahead of the average time here. This is a little bit of a bit. I mean, this seemed like a pretty standard year, but it was definitely you know, it wasn't small by any means. Let's see if we can get down into it. Oh wow, look at the work she's done there. Not much left here. Good stuff. And shout out to the stream streaks that came in. Gabsy with 60. Let's go. Nice indeed. Well done. Thank you for watching. And Grubby with the humble 5. Yeah, 5 with the time difference is great. And I don't know, again, I think for me, is that it? I always find it hard to keep, I'm going to call that a time. I always find that it's just tough to get Twitch to recognize that you've been on. Sometimes I struggle with that. So about an average run there. Only, what is that, 6.2 seconds behind the average. Again, these are all, you know, quote-unquote random seeds here. Not every year is going to be the same. So I think we take that well ahead of her worst time by a significant amount. I think all in all, great effort, and as Summer mentioned, completely asleep before this thing fired off here. So I think we can all say quite good. About just under 3 minutes behind her absolute best, but yeah, very average time, which is what you want here. Just picking up the bits, making sure all is well. Let's give her a good job, Bon. Like, all right, I'm gonna keep working at that. Very good. Good stuff. All right. Well-deserved bowl of water coming for her right now. She's like, all right, I'm out. Cool. Let's save those splits. Alright, and that one came in from Snooster, actually. That was the submitter of that particular run. Thank you, Snooster. Alright, back to it, I say. Right back to the wheel. Much appreciated for all the GGs. She's getting a big old drink of water right now. Okay. All right, Little Monkey Island Bingo. So this is a new-ish, I guess new to me category, but this is double bingo. So we're going to be trying to do two lines in whatever way we feel here. So let me mark that as hit. Monkey Island Bingo is the best. I would love to play more of it. There it is. Alright, Monkey Island, huh? So let me open up ScumVM. we need to make a bingo seed. So, if you want to play Monkey Island Bingo... Oh no, is Bingo Sync down right now? It is. Okay. We may have to put this one on ice for now. I'm getting a 502 on Bingo Sync. Let me just try one other thing here. No, yeah. Okay. So, unfortunately, Bingo Sync is down currently. Let me make a quick note for myself. I'll check again a little bit later on. Maybe it'll come back up before the end of stream. But worst case, we'll pick this one up on the next Spin Sunday stream. Oh! We do have a new community challenge up, the May Wheel Week. I started like a week late, so hopefully we do hit it, but worst case, there's always next month. But feel free to put your double eagles towards that if you'd like to unlock that. It'll be basically all the streams post UKSG. 4 streams instead of just 2 at the end of the month of more streams like this, where Bingo Sync may or may not work. Alright, so let me put a note in, or I should say on the wheel page here. That way I remember. Alright. Okay, well, whilst we wait for that to go back up, let's spin again. All right, first play. I know nothing really about this game other than it was submitted by Casey, and Casey has some pretty good taste in games. So we're going to play a game called 80 Days. So let me mark that one as hit. Back of the wheel here, getting some work done. That is for sure. Close out of Scum VM, because we don't need that anymore. Now we'll start the game proper here. All the avid bingo players. Yeah, right. Yeah, hopefully it's back up soon. Because there's I mean, not only is Monkey Island Bingo on there, but there's obviously loads of other games too. Hey, Spade. Welcome in. Yeah, you haven't missed Simon 2 yet. That is still coming. I have a feeling that'll be a number of streams as well, if it's anything like the first one, so. Missed 80 days. No, you're actually just in time for 80 days. Just in time. We're literally just about to boot it up. Welcome back, Bob. Jeez. Just loading up the game now. I would really love to play this in windowed mode. So let me just see if we can... Oh, yes. we can. Beautiful. A little cage thingy with the bingo balls broke. In some ways, that's true. I don't know. We'll have to keep eyes on that. So if bingo comes up, I'll be happy to circle back and do it. But for now, we're going to play a game called 80 Days. Okay, I just need to grab the game here. That'll do. Yeah, restart. All right, I guess we're kicking in. Ah, London, 1872. I've entered into the service of a new gentleman, it would seem. He is a gambling man. Oh, cool. Oh, that sounds amazing, Summer. It would seem he's a gambling man. Inkle presents an association with Cape Guy. Days. Okay. London. Screenshot settings. I've never played this, no. I know absolutely nothing about this game at all. Just Casey submitted it, and Casey has some good taste in games, so I just said, yeah, let's do it. All right, home sweet home, huh? All right, Phileas Fogg returned home early from the Reform Club in a new-fangled steam carriage. Besides, I helped him down. The iron-lunged, steam-driven horses clattered away. Passport out, he said. We are going around the world. Could be the whole stream, possibly. Yeah, these first plays usually are at least one full stream. Around the world? I asked, utterly astonished. We shall circumnavigate the globe within 80 days. He was quite calm as he proposed his wild scheme. We leave for Paris on the 8:25 in an hour. This was a shocking turnabout. From a master who was, by all accounts, a creature of inflexible habit and mechanical regularity. Perhaps the carriage's engine fumes had affected his reason? Perhaps you should lie down. That would be most inefficient use of time, he replied, placidly. Pack an altimeter in my evening jacket. There's not a moment to waste. Okay. Passepartout. Okay. What? Time is already just going? Sure. Altimeter. Evening jacket. That's what they said, right? I'm gonna take the timetable as well. Okay. I didn't realize this is all timed out here. So we have to okay, is this the game then? We have to go around the world here. Okay, that's a nice little line, I guess. Okay. Golly, I'm gonna have to really hustle then, huh? Depart, I suppose. Embark. Space for one suitcase. This is a bearable option. Okay. Cool. Don't get stuck somehow. Okay. The mechanical horses race Pack Piccadilly Circus and Pall Mall faster than a team of thoroughbreds. Even so, the whistle of Day 25 was blowing as we pulled up to the Charing Cross station. We have no tickets. Let's just throw ourselves aboard, of course. We raced along the concourse, threw ourselves on board. As the second whistle shrieked its warning, we barely had time to take our seats before the guard rapped smartly on the compartment door. Tickets, please. We're in a great hurry, I explained, giving him a beseeching look. We did not have time to buy tickets. You may purchase them from me. Though it is more expensive, I'm afraid. £85, please. Let's argue. Passepartout. You'll pay the sum at once, he put it coldly, and remunerate this man for his patience. All right, fine. From one working man to another. The guard gave me our tickets and slid the compartment door shut behind him with a pneumatic hiss. Your funds have gone down somewhat. Yeah, okay. I'm on fine form, but we must make haste. We can talk a little bit, right? Looks like. Money. This will be an expensive journey, indeed. But we can earn a little by buying and selling our possessions as we travel. Let's see. What's the purpose of the journey? I've made a hefty wager, and I do not intend to lose. Oh dear. London smog gave way to rolling hills and pastures of the Kentish countryside, still untouched by the hand of technological advancement. I repacked our bags, sure. Thrown together in haste and confusion. This afternoon turned exonerably to the evening. I discovered that my master was one of those gentlemen who broke their silence rarely, if at all. A guard rapped at our door. A few miles before Dover. We were about to submerge, he warned. Takes some people a bit funny, so watch out. Very good. As I replied, as though submerging inside a 1,000-ton metal train is quite ordinary for me. If you feel claustrophobic, try running up and down the corridor. I find the exercise helps. With that, he closed the door. Yeah, would this guy be claustrophobic? I doubted it. He appeared not to be constrained by matters of mere place and circumstance. An alarm sounded as the fins above the amphitrite's wheels extended with a hydraulic hiss. Night fell, and we plunged past the end of the track into the freezing water of the English Channel. Relationship with fog has improved slightly. Your character is now dependable. Okay, good to be dependable. Okay, 4 a.m. Plunged the water overnight, splashed up into the wider gauge French tracks. Apply as dawn broke. You have a route in mind. I am as yet undecided. The new canal has sped up the shipping route from Suez to Bombay, though perhaps we can take the Trans-Siberian Railway, not the orchestra, across Russia. Surely not Siberia, I exclaimed. It's so cold and grim. I have a particular fear of bears. Bears. We love beers. And then we would do well to buy furs. He refrained from rolling his eyes. Too much Simon the Sorcerer immediately was like, is it beer? There are other alternatives. We may also travel overland across the Black and Caspian Seas. But which is fastest? Sure. I believe that is what we shall put to the test. Parbleu. Scarcely knew what to think. Alright, we're in Paris now. Automatron porters lifted our luggage and then our persons onto a platform with long, delicately filigreed iron arms. Paris, city of my heart. I was home, but not to stay. Right on. Okay. So now I have to be kind of quick. That is a pretty good little route here. This is getting us all the way over to India. And this is the railway, presumably. That's going to cover a lot of distance. Good gravy. Some of our possessions could be sold handsomely here. Thank you very much, IQ Neg, for the resub. Welcome, welcome. Or it's a first sub, actually. Thank you kindly. Let's head to the market, I guess, quick. $540. Sure. That seems like a ton of money, right? Bunch of money in Berlin. Blanket. Extra suitcase for only 10 pounds. I don't know. I guess we'll do that for now. We'll pocket the money. We have to wait, I guess, for the next spot. Explore. Thank you again for the sub, IQ Neg. Very kind. With a few hours to spare, I asked Monsieur Fogg if I might enjoy my city before we had to leave. Indeed, you should learn of anything of note and be sure to relay it. All right, head into town. Talk on the streets is of only one thing: an enormous, elegant oval stadium constructed over the green fields of Champ-de-Mars and containing the technological marvels, art, amusement parks, and milling crowds of the World's Fair of 1872. I ventured inside. All right. An arc light, sure. She first disconnected the strange machine powering the lights at a spinning iron wheel, which was wound with a series of armature coils. What was that device? I asked politely, my eye straining to the copper lily pin. Claimed her profession. The bleeding nuisance is what it is, the artificer grumbled in a thick Yorkshire accent. These grand machines are finicky beasts. I'll do you a favor and not do the Yorkshire accent. You don't want to hear me do it. Go on. Oh, it's a, well, never mind. It's a steam engine, all right. Only it doesn't make steam. Will that do? I hate explaining this stuff to laymen. She unscrewed the arc light's globe of enameled glass and replaced 2 carbon rods within. She reconnected the supply antenna, and the Yablokov candles connected to the series lit up once more. They are miraculous. Their hard work is what they are, miracles indeed. But her mouth softened into a small, proud smile. She looked at her pocket watch, cursed, and hurried off, dropping something as she went. Return it. My medallion, I need that to get my lunch from the canteen. Thank you. Bowed in return. Stop that, you'll make me blush. She rubbed the coin thoughtfully. I was given this for my work in Istanbul, you know. I made a very special automaton. I think it works as a driver now. Up on the roof from Izmir. I think that's right. I'm starting to think I should probably be taking some notes now. Just in case. So let's get the old notebook out here. There's the pen. Is there anything they can't do? Okay, so we're talking about was Istanbul, yes? This is something. Izmir. There's going to be a lot of poor pronunciation, so you just have to forgive me for being American, basically. An automation who can drive? Of course, is that so strange? I can only shrug. Who knows what's normal in this modern world? About me once more. Avenues sprawled in every direction between the inviting illuminated pavilions, the exposition. Let's do the Avenue of Nations. Airship one almost feels too obvious. Took a stroll down the avenue of nations lined with buildings in the styles of nations of the world and manned by foreign delegates in national dress, although newly formed German Empire was a conspicuous absentee. Yeah, a most eclectic sight. In the city it so recently conquered. Yeah. Zulu Federation had a rep at the village. Ooh. Zulu Nation. 400 diplomats and warriors, which... concerning the French soldiers. Made a busy, impressive stand. Above the display was a fine pharaoh-type of their great emperor, Keshwaya, in his palace in Ulundi. A little wooden automatron shaped like a bird. Go on. Its wings woven with beads. It chirruped and landed near me, and I saw its eyes glowed like unearthly lamps. I turned away hurriedly. Crowds of tourists jostled and heaved past, eyes wide with wonder. Okay, headed towards the red and purple tents. The Artificers Guild, draped with banners emblazoned with their copper lily sigil. And the orchestra played gleaming. Lost my spot. Brass instruments, while a mechanical sommelier popped the cork from a champagne bottle and poured out bubbling over glasses for passing tourists. One of the artificers... yeah, human-shaped automation. It can move depending on the choices. Okay. Yeah, that's probably something I want to keep an eye on. Let's see. Rummaging through its clockwork innards. Took out a piece of engraved glass and peered at it with the jeweler's loupe. A dashed thing, he cursed in upper-class English tones. Then looked up. Oh, hello. Didn't mean to interrupt. What are you doing? Ogta Martin. Let's try to remember that. Gonna be a lot of new words for me today. We gotta learn today. Different transports, different times. Yeah, that's a good point. I have a feeling we're not gonna make it on this particular run. But we're gonna try. We're gonna try. Automaton. Trying to build an automaton that can cook, you see. Not going well. This one can't even fry a chip. How long have you been trying? It's been a dream of mine ever since I was a young lad at boarding school. Wistful tone dropped into horror. The things that old Miss Parsons could do to a cabbage. Tender stomachs of Britain's youth would be much safer in mechanical hands. Let's go. Simply hire French cooks. There you go. Do you cook yourself? Not a jot. Do you suppose that's the fly in the ointment? Good thought, old chap. Perhaps I'll go and find myself a cook. Model my automaton on. Automation. Automaton, whatever. Okay. Rather skeptical. I took my leave courteously nonetheless, then returned to the center of the exposition. My feet were tiring and the hour was growing late. I returned. I was eating a meal of plain boiled beef. A lasagna. Not lasagna, but you know. Did you enjoy the exposition? He inquired. Yeah, I nodded. I'll ask about this here. Assuredly, I intend to use, or for us to use, the most efficient transport available. I dreamed that night of mechanical wonders and automations. or automatons, with beautifully enameled faces, knowing little of the strange inventions and stranger peoples I would soon encounter on my journey around the world. AI Doc. Yeah, so far it's pretty cool. It kind of just throws you into it and you got to figure it out, which I kind of like about it. So it's pretty fun. Welcome in. Shows up a lot in Siberia as well. Okay, good. Fair enough. Okay, there's that switch over to Istanbul. Okay, I think we got a roll here. We've got a load of money, which is nice. We're in Paris. All right. I guess the plan, let's get to Vienna, because I think if we get to Vienna, we can start running towards Istanbul, and that also allows us to fire north, maybe. What's the option? Oh, Amsterdam's cheaper, though. But that kind of does get us out into the woods pretty deep there. Yeah, let's do Munich. How do I do this? Can I not do that? Departs in 2 days, so I guess I have to wait. Is that how that works? Departure could be discussed. Shoot, I know I'm burning time, but I can't really figure out what to do here. Oh, I'm just planning. Okay, so I'm not completely losing my mind. Can't go this way today. Negotiate? Partial Englishman's wardrobe should change their minds. But we can drop some serious cash and leave tomorrow? Is that what... That's a lot of money, though. 270 for tomorrow. Yeah, go for it, I guess. So that's the plan. Tomorrow at 6 p.m. Okay. Oh, shoot. Yeah, well, I would love to. I just don't know what I'm doing here. There we go. So I have to click on the city that I'm in, and then I open the menu back up. That makes sense. I keep looking for like another button. It's not actually there. Okay, we took a hotel for the night. We'll be comfortable here, but traveling overnight will be much more efficient. Where possible. Cannot travel where it is not possible, certainly, he replied. Still, the surrounds of the hotel rich were most enjoyable. Click on the clock to skip an hour. Okay, so it's 1 hour a pop. So if we were to depart... I think we already planned this, right? We want to get into the Munich one, right? Okay, boarding the Orient Express was an altogether calmer affair with our race through London, or than our race through London had been. Mechanical porters loaded us through the windows, snapped them shut with a delicate click. Extremely fast. It'd sweep us across the whole of Europe, or at least as far as that. But the track currently ceased. The long whistle blew, and we begin our journey east. You might have been right. Master wished to be undisturbed as we left Paris. I left him and went to explore the train. There was a delightful dining car and an observation deck formed by the replacement of an entire compartment with an open glass cube. Yeah. Watched the scenery flash past, and as I stood, a portly gentleman, quivering luxuriant mustache, struggled, carrying several trunks. Sure, let's help out. I offered him my aid, and he introduced himself after a shower of saying thanks. Henry de Blowitz. De Blowitz. Foreign correspondent of the Times. All of the Times. Are you working, monsieur? I asked, to my delight, and he assured me he was. I am. The stories that you hear, it seems everywhere, is on the brink of one revolution or another. Everywhere there is progress, but who will count its cost? Sounds most ominous. Does it? While I am a journalist, it's my duty to make omens. Good day to you. With that, he clapped me on the shoulder and headed off in the direction of the dining car. Oh, I followed him. Found a few groups of people talking quietly. I feel like we want to know what's going on here. We sat with him. Passed a few awkward hours as he drank through cup after cup of coffee and talked about nothing but his tailor. Yeah, as we talked, I'd eavesdropped shamelessly. Okay, between a young composer and two Parisian ladies who, as it transpired, were heading to the same concert in Vienna. Yes. My papa says it's very dangerous. He says the emperor is spoiling for war. I interjected. Yeah, we asked the guy about it. Indeed, Vienna is arming itself at an alarming rate. I'm writing a story about it. They say they will be moving the troops out soon. Out to where? The Ottomans. They intend to strike Istanbul. Well, that could be a problem because I think we're kind of aiming to go through Istanbul. Maybe we don't want to do that anymore. Who says this? Oh, I have my sources. Now I must get to bed. Let's listen to the youngsters a bit further. Matter of hats. I was interested. What did you learn? Rumblings of war. I do not think war will break out by the day after tomorrow, so I think we will have to make other plans. Nothing more to say. Your character is now courageous. Okay. Alright, so we're in Munich now. Alright. Can't do a heck of a lot here. You're quite the flamboyant type, I see. What does that mean? Okay. It's late. All right, the Franco-Prussian War had concluded but a year previously. Thus I flaunted my French accent. I don't know. I guess it probably would be a disadvantage. I don't know. Sure. I was most suspicious when I approached the desk. I did not care for politics myself. What with the amenity of nations to me? Yeah, we'll play it safe here. Who knows what's going on? I think as little as possible makes sense. Rather than putting on a different accent. Spoke as little during our stay, tried to adopt the Germanic rather than Francophone expression to match. Perhaps with mixed success. Monsieur's faintly quizzical looks were any measure. Alright, so we gotta wait for things to happen, so we'll do exploring. Little daylight in Munich. The sky was shrouded in steam and oil fumes from the tractors and hydraulic excavators in the streets. Let's listen to the workers shouting. It was like the cafe might be good because it's like kind of a hub of information a lot of times in games like this. Absent-mindedly. Far more intrigued by the gleaming machines. Rumor has it this work was the doing of the Bavarian king. We become obsessed with steam power and was spending the exorbitant sum on imported machinery and engineering works. The Kingdom of Bavaria had recently joined the German Empire. It appeared the king suddenly had more time on his aristocratic hands. Power and free time, most potent, dangerous combination? as our journey, I fear, proves. Okay, we can dip now. Check the market. Were we able to sell this quite a bit? Oh, in Berlin. Don't have any room for an apple. Magnifying glass valuable. We are heading out kind of towards Venice. We could, I guess, head to Venice. Berlin is up here. No. Let's do it. Moving troops to Istanbul. I mean, look at this line up here, though, from Moscow. The thing is, we could go to Berlin and sell that. I'm gonna do it. Uncomfortable conditions in the open road. Looks like a bothersome experience. Oh, I see. Okay. I don't know what to take of all of this. I guess if that's happening, we probably don't want to go that way because maybe like some roads would get destroyed. I don't know if I'm like overthinking this or not. And Hearts doing things as well. Venice. Yeah. Oh, did I miss? I missed the time. That stinks. Okay. So I straight up missed everything there. Okay, that's fine. I just have to make a decision, I guess. It's kind of tough. I think we will go for Berlin then, since we have to wait the day anyway. And we'll sell this for a ton of money and then hope things work out, I think. Catch you later, Grubby. Yeah, it is a bit of a wild game. I'm not used to the pace of this quite yet. We'll get there. Pretty fun though. I like I love games like this where you do kind of have to plan and make decisions like that, but I just have to kind of get in the rhythm of it. Yeah, we should wander. Didn't find anything. Very cool. All right, let's do Berlin. Let's negotiate. 500. That's fine. You know what? 500's nothing, and I'll tell you why. Because we're about to get a ton of money from the wine. This is for the best. Okay, we crossed from Munich to Berlin in a patched-up steam carriage. A road movie to Berlin, even. The smoke pumped out of the back through a tall iron chimney, leaving a soot-smudged wake, which trailed behind us like a flag. Did not stop talking of his father. He was an engine driver and had just been promoted. Kaiser has merged all the state railways into the Reich Railway, he told us proudly. We have the most efficient system in all of Europe. Seems like an excellent option. It is. Only be sure to have your ticket. They have a little prison cell in the train station for those who try to jump aboard. Remember, in Berlin at least, train guard is a direct servant of their country. That's good to know. Okay, we're starting to open it up here. This is good. Converse. Greetings, Thanks, Christoph. Don't worry. You won't distract me from the road. Ask about Berlin. The beer and the sausages are good. Is it beer? Okay. Warsaw would be good to know about, I guess, because that's kind of a way we can go. Gathered you can be arrested for lacking a ticket from Berlin to Warsaw. You mentioned trains. I've been told Thessaloniki is linked to Athens aboard the Greek coastal train. Okay. Route from Warsaw to Stockholm is timetabled. You mentioned boats. I've been told by my aunt, or that my aunt once took the merchant trader Nefertiti from Antalya to Beirut. Okay. Mentioned boats. I'm told Alexandria can be reached by from Beirut. So Nefertiti has got some options here. Seems good. Alexandria. Fastest way to Alexandria is from here through Prague. Private car. Okay. So these are all the things that we just learned, presumably. These are unfortunately nowhere near where we are currently as we start working our way north. That's all good, though. Shadow fell over the steam carriage. Christoph blanched and crossed himself, taking his hands from the wheel. Not knowing what to expect, the sight that greeted me almost defied description. An Ottoman airship hung directly above the steam carriage, low enough where I could see a black pirate flag waving. Red-jacketed woman swinging from a trailing rope ladder pointing towards us with a wild grin on her face. She shouted something, and the two mechanical claws were dropped off the side of the gondola. Their pincers gleamed threateningly. Drive! He opened the steam valve as far as it would go. Our lightly loaded car leapt, outrunning and swerving out of the reach of the clawed arm. We did not slow until reaching the cover of trees. What the heck? Christoph braked hard and exhaled deeply. Are you well? He nodded. Very well, that was a close escape. A pirate boat, if I'm not as mistaken. Holy moly. Okay. Pirates, you say? Very well, that was a close escape. Pirate boat. Yeah. Wonder if he regretted the loss of an airship. Even one sailed by the worst sort of rogues. But it was gone from the skies. We steadied our nerves and then proceeded at a calmer pace into Berlin, grateful for the city once it swallowed us up. That's crazy. Alright, yeah, we're definitely gonna sell that wine. For sure. I'm gonna take this moment to plan. It looks like we can only go to Warsaw. So it looks like, I guess we need to work our way to at least St. Petersburg. Hopefully we can figure out if there's like a connection here. Okay. Stuff everywhere. I love it. I think that's the straightforward plan. I don't think we can have to worry too much about it. Hotel. 6:30 a.m. Stayed for the night at the Hotel Adlon on Unter den Linden, main boulevard in the central Mid District. From the window, Brandenburg Gate was lit up by upturned gas lamps. I went for a late night stroll. Past groups of people drinking at low tables, demonstrating various engine noises. I guess we just kind of keep having to be like, oh, you're making an engine noise. You must know something about how to get from place A to place B. Yeah. I'm gonna driver. The best driver in Germany. All right. Can he prove such a claim? Certainly. I'll be starting a 4-day trip to Bucharest via Prague and Budapest tomorrow morning. Only I shall do the trip in 3. Okay. Okay. That's kind of an interesting situation. Oh, shoot. Hang on. Before I forget, because I will. 7 a.m. market. Get the heck out of here. Give me all that money. A railway man set. Okay, that could be helpful. Town. Caribbean time. I mean, we're not going to be in the Caribbean anytime soon. Where is Car Town? I'm going to buy the whistle. X, right? Depart. So we can either go down there, or we could take this insane trip down to Bucharest. It's tomorrow at 8 a.m. though. It'll get us quite far, and this will take us up and over. I think I'm going to go with Warsaw. Let's roll with it. I don't really understand the hearts situation, but that was a -26, which makes me a little bit concerned about that. Plus, I guess we're avoiding some of the whatever's going to happen down in Istanbul a little bit. We'll just take the northern area. Let's see. The German Reich Railways made a political point of their efficiency to quiet any nationalist rumblings. Departures left the moment they claimed, not a second before, not a second after. Suspecting as much, I attempted to plan ahead. Reputation with fog. Ah, okay. Good to know. Oh, and we've improved it as well. Loading all the luggage a full hour early and ensuring Monsieur Fogg was installed the moment the guards lifted the gate. Remembering Christophe's advice, I had my ticket securely in my jacket pocket at all times, which was fortunate, as I was somewhat sleepy, and managed to leave one of Monsieur's shirts behind in the hotel. Then we were away. Sleepy indeed. Fogg. Thank you, my good man. I feel better. Okay, we gave him a good combing. Oh, there's the... I didn't notice in the corner. There's the hearts. Okay. We arrived in good time as expected and disembarked into the windy streets of Warsaw. Ooh. I think we're in good shape. Market. Oh, an accordion. Monkey wrench. Fur coat. Fur coat, we were talking about being cold. That could be good. Valuable in Athens, Helsinki, and Minsk. Okay, Minsk, we're heading kind of in that direction, right? Can I, plan? Slow down! Well, I guess we might end up out there. Right now, it looks like we gotta go to Stockholm at this point. Does this take 2 slots? It takes 3 slots. All right, wrench. We'll take the wrench. I should probably also get... oh, it's closed now anyway. I was going to maybe buy an extra bag. I don't know if we can just do that there. The Stockholm to St. Petersburg is an interesting shot. We don't have a route to Minsk, nor do we have a route to Moscow, but we might be able to find one, I guess. Oop. Guess we'll hotel it up. Might need to do some light exploring if we have time, but... Okay. In less than 2 generations, the Tsars had made this little outpost all their own. But there are signs of dissent on every corner. Every building project of the city, there were glued pamphlets declaring the Russians to be dogs, fiends, and Philistines. We walked further, however, and saw no disturbances. Seems all the revolutionary types... Oh boy. Been rounded up and shot? I don't know. Factor Hostilier. Batelier, I don't know. Told us later that pamphlets themselves are produced by machines, buried by the rebels during the Troubles. No one has found a way to switch them off. It's interesting. All right, I am going to explore. Okay, so we can dip down, and now we have a way to go far east as well. Incredible creature as tall as a house with wide swinging metal arms like a rampaging giant. I stared, gawping as the terrible machine stomped from foot to foot and slowly rotating. I saw that in its chest was a man using levers and switches to operate the colossal device. A gigantic walking exoskeleton. I waved to him. He looked down, tipped his cloth cap. Are you safe up there? Oh, how does it work? There are 2 levers for each hand. They work on ball sockets. I'll let you try, sir. Or I'd let you try, but I must get on with my work. So what is it? It's a Kodunki. They've shipped a few to help us with the building work. Monkey combat, yeah. Could you imagine? I also saw the comment. Imagine using an actual monkey as a monkey wrench. Or not using a monkey as a monkey wrench. Can't be done. From Navarro's... Yes, from here. It's a small town on the far side of the Black Sea. I don't know why they'd have the surplus of these things there. The drawn back arm smashed into a wall. Very casual conversation for what's going on. And a building fell into a cloud of dust. I jumped back. Excuse me, but I must get back to work. What an incredible sight. Cool. Anything else in the market we want? We can head to Minsk now, actually, and I think I might go do it. So part of me is like, do we need, well, Englishman's trousers where we're going? Perhaps. Do we need the altimeter? Let's wing it. Depart. 220. That's pretty expensive. Hang on. Do we have time? I would really love to think about this. Because I really want to get this fur coat. We'll figure it out. Clambered aboard the train. Bog settled in a far corner like a dusty old uncle, and I went to sit with him. Ready to attend to his wishes. He had none, of course, but to be left alone with his thoughts, whatever they might be. So he rode in silence, a comfortable silence nonetheless. I wait. Does that give me actual news? Paris World Fair, roaring success. Okay. Very indecisive. Very indecisive. We arrived at Minsk after nightfall and disembarked. I mean, that can't be the only place in the world you can get a coat. Do you know what I mean? We can complete our railwayman's uniform here. Useful on train journeys. Okay, that's good to know. I will take this moment to plan. So obviously we need to head to Moscow now. We are committed to the bit. Which should send us way out into, into the far east. I guess if this goes without a hitch, which I doubt that it will, but if it does, we can get all the way out here pretty much near Japan. Then I don't know if we can maybe work through China, the Philippines. I don't know how we get, I know, we're going to have to figure something out. Interesting stuff, though. All right. We are here. Can I please get back into the menu? We'll see how it goes. It's getting colder. Very cold. Newspaper man offered me a sip of Turkish coffee at a tram stop in Minsk. My grandfather was French, he said blandly. We are compatriots. Toast him with my ceramic tumbler. I do not think so. He spat on the ground vehemently. I did not know him. He was one of Napoleon's soldiers. Minsk was occupied during the invasion. Oops. He did not speak in a particular accusative tone, but any words I tried to say in reply, oops. Yeah, let's change the subject. Pivot. Man's expression seemed to lift a little. The fellow from the Times. I read his work, of course. You know him? I did meet him. What journalist can afford to travel on the Orient Express? You don't know where he was going? I don't remember. Was I guess Vienna? Because they were talking about Vienna? Vienna, I think. Keep my ears open. If the Glowitz is there, something must be happening. Most likely. Remembering that he said his trip was for work. Gestured with his cup. We'll cross Russia for Japan, right? Oh, it's closed. Okay, you have more luck going through China unless you're military. We are not. Okay. Maybe the governor there likes Europeans. Our tram wheezed to a stop. The conductor opened the doors. Newspaperman boarded. Enjoy your coffee. Without even looking in my direction. I'll wait. Didn't want my friend to get in trouble for talking to foreigners. I'm gonna do a quick explore here. Let's check the market. Shortbread biscuit. Tasty. Safety harness. Heavy storm set. Oh, dear. Okay. We're kind of exiting timetable now, right? Would love an extra suitcase. Can I not buy one, I guess? I'll buy the railway cap. I don't know what that's going to necessarily do. Additionally, I'll stick this in there because we have a spot for it. Negotiate times of train journeys. Okay. What does the bank do? Must visit the bank. Additional funds? I'm a gentleman. They would extend me credit if required. But if you do suppose I put my entire fortune into the carpet bag under your supervision? Oh. Of course. Routes unlocked through ownership of the timetable are not lost after you sell it. Okay, that is good to know. Very good. I didn't just totally screw myself. I regarded the bank as we entered. It's a small affair, but efficiently looked after. You wish to withdraw funds? I warn you, it may take some time. No, we're good. We're good. We're good. We have a ton of money. I just kind of wanted to see what it was. All right, let's depart. Something is closed, yes? All this ending stuff, right? So we're gonna want to dip out earlier than that. We also have Odessa now, too, which is kind of cool. I think we're gonna go to Moscow, though. Go on. Okay, after nightfall, Fog had taken to tapping his watch every time he began a new journey, as though he was recording the time of the departure through some fantastical spring-operated signal. Perhaps he was sending a message to whomever it was back in London who persuaded him on this very curious journey of ours. Strengthened slightly. Okay, terrific. There was little time to do anything before total darkness enveloped the train. Converse. Greetings. Good evening, man of France. Thank you. Let's talk about our next spot, which is Moscow. for the Kremlin, St. Basil's onion domes. Okay, let's talk about Omsk. That's what we were given. Traders and agro pay. This should, okay. Understand my brother always wanted to travel on the Canadian railway from Gastown to Winnipeg. Shout out Winnipeg. Urga. Absolutely. Oh, Beijing. Yeah, give me all the Beijing stuff. Yes, okay. But those ones have to go quick. I may not be able to read those out loud to everybody ahead of time, now that I'm noticing that time is ticking as I go through it. But this was good. We can get all the way to Hong Kong now. And we can now cross the great country of Canada. Well, some of it at least. Crossing into the Russian countryside, train moving slow and steady. I spent the time eavesdropping, of course. Where were we? Muscovite artist. That the governor at Omsk is a likable fellow who enjoys travelers' tales. Finally, we pulled into... Okay. Was this the mayor? Governor. Okay, stone edifice. That was Moscow Station and disembarked. KGB music intensifies. Full compress. Ooh, a top hat. False passport. Yeah, Jack Passenger. That'll get him. That's kind of cool though. Left of the law set. Could be helpful. Air traveler set. I feel like this is gonna come in handy at some point. But you know what? No, I'm sticking with it. Sticking with it. Sticking with it. I'm in roaring health, but we must make haste. Sure. So if we can get out here, that would be ideal. I think we will stop in Omsk. No charge in 2 days? Yeah, let's cook. We don't have any hammers, but so that's not going to help us, but maybe we'll run into somebody out and about. Okay, cool. Back in Moscow. Hotel. Not a comfortable city for a Frenchman. A local composer had just written a piece people were calling the 1812 Overture, commemorating the Russian victory over Napoleon's invading Grand Army that fateful year. Yeah, I mean, do we stay inside? I think we can maybe putt around, right? We'll putt. I resolved to remain mute. I think that's a good idea. Play it cool. Go by Coach. Coach was in a new style horseless, powered by a rumbling coal-fed engine. Let's check the markets. Apple-cheeked young boys and wrapped up peasant women. I found myself drawn to one particular stall, selling ceramics, and painted a distinctive blue and white. Yeah, we'll take a plate. Well wrapped. The bells of the nearby church chimed the hour of return to the hotel. Content with my brief view of the Tsar's capital city. Funds have gone down a touch. A good price in Merv. Is that a place that I should know? Is that along the way here? Are we Mervin? Allegedly not anywhere that I'm aware of. The Hammer Museum, yeah. We'll do a little bit of backtracking. We have to get... We must get our deals. We can get them. It's a very cool video game. I'm having a very good time with this so far. Okay. I mean, I think we've got a plan. Market's already open, isn't it? Holy moly. Oh, I did get it. Oh. Oh, I can just buy a suitcase to hold more things. Well, in that case, we're going to get everything. Give me all the things. We got room. None of that stuff is, too bothersome. All right, so Omsk. Didn't we already do this? 11 a.m. Go. Okay. That's what I'm talking about. Negotiated for free down and then did it again. That's good. Hopefully I didn't pay for 2 tickets, though. I'm not quite sure if I did or not. The bell in the stuccoed and whitewashed Moscow station gave its third and final clang, and the platform erupted into frenzy. We boarded calmly. Found ourselves in a small cabin with heated water and even a shaving mirror. Converse. Okay, let's talk about Omsk. Governor is a very important man. Is this train going to Moscow? No, it's not. Oh dear. Westward trip around the world. Oops, I didn't actually mean to do that. Sell for profit iron. Crud. Alright, we got a little bit out of that. We were away. Familiarize myself with the train. Last 2 carriages, heavily guarded prison cars, then the 4th class, then the 3rd, and so on. With amenities scattered in between cars. The smoking room was besides the dining car. Plushly decked in Moorish fashion with low seats. I sat myself down and shared a cigar with a Russian businessman. Told me that you could obtain hand-woven rugs in Kabul that will sell for a fortune in Chittagong. Good to see that. Wherever anyone goes, conversations are all the same. Alright, 7 more days of the journey. The middle of nowhere. Yeah, this is a pretty long trip here. Fellow passengers were a mix of convicts, political radicals, prospectors, businessmen, and military officers. In the midst of this was one young lady, Rosa, wearing a bored expression. Okay, I'll load. Let's make her acquaintance, I guess. A little creepy way. Not just follow her. Desperate for a sympathetic ear, and told me about her great secret. She'd fallen in love with a peasant boy in the 4th class called Jack. By which I understood they had shared a glance of extreme passion in the baggage car. Okay, ought to be young again. We crossed the Volga in the early afternoon, crawling slowly with a bridge perched on some high pillars. The devout Russians stood to cross themselves while looking over the water. You could just hear the lilting, rhythmic, oar-beating songs of the Volga boatmen with the whistle of the steamboats. More tiring than... You're only at 70! We got plenty here, Mr. Fogg. I'll give you a comb, though. Across the Urals today, at the risk of sounding like a jaded traveler, I must admit they were hardly magnificent. The heaving up of earth and forested hills for a few hundred miles. We stopped for an hour in Ekaterinburg, where I spotted the young lady slipping off into 4th class. Her worried mama followed soon after, demanding wherever anyone had seen her daughter. What do we want to do here? Do we want to blow up her spot? I'll make an excuse. You enjoy yourself back there. She was convinced. She cast me a grateful glance when she returned. I could only hope her little amour not blossom into an outright scandal. There we go. Converse. Greetings, Rosa. Have you ever been in love? Let's talk about Omsk. I'm in love with your information regarding Omsk. Okay. Okay, so we now have a way to go south. Holy smokes, look at how far down that is. Okay, we have a decision now to make. Yeah, how does she know? I have no idea, right? I guess, like, if you really have to, like, string it together, maybe the mom was just like, that guy over there said that you were over there and you took, like, the largest, you know, you've been in the bathroom for a while. 30 minutes, holy moly. Time on board takes on a meditative quality. Visit the library card. Yeah, let's go to the car. Met Golan, the daughter of a Mongol chieftain who is poring over a thick volume of algebra. Incredible. Oh, we have a Bonnie treat that's come in. Did I miss any earlier ones? I did. Holy cow. Sorry, Ryan, I missed yours earlier. I'll get yours and Alex's right now. Bon, you want a treat? Here she comes. Just got totally sucked away in this trip here, and this is a time where the time is not ticking away. So here we go. One for Ryan, thanks for your patience. And one for Alex. Thank you very much for the Bonnie treats, and hello, hello. Let's get a couple scritchies in there. Fake volume about, yeah. It's that fake math that they tell you about. You good, Bon? Look at this. Look at this dog. Sleepy. Doggo. Off she goes. Off to bed. 80 days of petting Bonnie, indeed. Yeah, hush hush. I hope that's where this conversation goes. Confess myself surprised by that particular equation. By her choice of reading, but she shrugged. I must study algebra. If I'm to be an engineer of the Imperial Army of Russia, I wish to leave behind my ancestors' warrior past. It is a new world. We may remake ourselves as we like. Just so, she said. She folded the book closed. You've traveled, monsieur. They call us barbarians, don't they? I felt sorry for her. I wanted to soften the truth. Who are they and what do they matter? Your life is yours. She leaned forward, eyes shining. The truth is, there's more going on in my country than most outsiders know. We are growing fast as people. What do you mean? This is the age of progress, she replied, tapping her books. Of systems and of thermodynamics, and my people, we have discovered some very interesting things. Indeed. I was intrigued. I would like to hear more. But the girl shook her head. I won't tell you. I will show you tomorrow night on the deck. Okay? Sure. We conversed until supper, and she presented me with her family's sold day, a Mongolian horsetail banner. I do not have any need of my past where I'm going. You can have it. Do with it what you will. Oh, we're zestful. Ooh. Like the best chips, we are zesty. Fog. We must fog it up here. We arrived in Omsk today and stepped off the train in the company of a full score of British, Dutch, and German merchants. with military officers taking their places. As the doors closed, I caught sight of Golan. Oh, right. We were supposed to probably stay on another day. Who seemed surprised to see me on the platform. She made to call something out, but then the door slammed, and the train was away on the track. That stinks. Cases felt light compared to the weight of my heart. Oops. I figured we had another day. I don't know how. No way to do it. No departures today. We should explore a little. I agree. Let's take a look at the market. Oh, hammers. Was it hammers in Omsk? I can't remember. We'll buy one for the trip at least. Fur coat. Yes. Western Star. Get the hat. Yeah. We are loaded with stuff now, that is for sure. Can't explore anymore, unfortunately. I completed Russian costumes to protect us against the cold and help us negotiate the times of Russian journeys. Okay. Well, that's good because we are in Russia right now, big time. Okay, so we've got... I think my plan is to go through China. We're aware that this station, I believe, one of these stations over here is closed. So us going all the way over via this path seems like a bad idea. We could head down to Kabul. This could actually be where the hammers are supposed to be, so I could make some money on hammers and then go through India. But I think I'm going to keep pushing. Although that is loads cheaper. It's a tough one, right? I think they wanted hammers here, by the way. Get to Kabul with the mail airship. Omsk likes Europeans. Minsk newspapermen. Or this, like, all the details that we have here. Traveler's Tales. We should have, maybe we'll take a day, I guess. We'll do a little exploring. I think I'm going to continue to go into Russia only because we've completed that suit there. And I feel like that's going to be of an advantage to us. Plus, we can, I don't know, we've got a lot of what seems to be helpful Russian-related things on our person. There's only one hotel. A large square across from a fine-looking residence. Knocked on the door. We were, after all, the most important travelers to arrive in this important city in some time. After a while, a maid opened and peered at us through dewy eyes. We are arrived from England, I announced, expecting the Empire to be our passport. Nor was I disappointed. The maid dropped a curtsy and ushered us inside. Although on reflection, I don't think she understood English, and was more impressed by our manner. We learned that the house belonged to the governor. Beautiful. And the province of the Russian steppes, a man named Buckles. We found him reading the works of Dostoevsky, which he rapidly hid as we entered. We entertained him with tales of our adventures, and he assured us he had reached the pinnacle of adventure here in Omsk, a major hub soon, he whispered, to become an independent state of its own right. Ooh. Revolution. We could not believe such a thing, but he waved the idea away. Revolution would not be needed, he assured us. Trade was flourishing, and the will was strong. Indeed, he told us the plans were afoot to bring Omsk to international importance with a Siberian exposition of agriculture and mechanical agriculture implements. That is a sentence. Dostoevsky. Okay. This game is absolutely challenging my pronunciation today. So buckle in for more of that. We could have talked this way all night. To do so would have made me finally scream. So we bade Buckles farewell and good fortune. As he left, he asked where we were heading. Where would you advise? I asked. Yeah, that's the best way east, but you may have trouble entering. The city is closed to all but the military. I'm going to write this down because I think I might have the wrong city here. Vlad. Evo. Closed. All but the military. I mean, we're decked out a little bit. I asked if he could help. He said, why not? Taking pen and paper from his desk, he quickly filled out a military-looking paper for us. This should suffice. When you return to England, please remember Omsk. We thanked him. Okay, well... Can manage another case, can't you? Yeah, we need to sell some things, I believe. For sure. I'm going to wait for the market to open. Because we should probably get rid of a couple things. Should we? Is the railway cap going to matter anymore out where we are? Hard to say. Where's Merv? We're 330 or 380 pound in Yokohama. Okay, we might end up out in Yokohama at some point. It's possible. All right, I guess we'll keep. We'll explore. I think it's worth a little explore. Most important stop on the line between Moscow and the Siberian capital of Irkutsk. A fact that we were made aware of by a signboard in 5 languages that told us just as much outside the station building. Town was presumably of religious importance since the place was stuffed full of Orthodox churches. The way a 6th class car is stuffed with pickpockets. Hey, yo. Plan. So, this now has presumably opened up our path here. Now it is incredibly expensive. No charge for 580. I mean, what the heck? Departing now. We have 3. Oh, no. Okay. Holy cow. Okay, I was not ready for that to be like a run and gun situation there. Excellent. Urga? Holy cow. Alright, we'll go piece by piece and we'll wait till tomorrow. That's fine. I accept defeat on that one. Go stare at this Western Star for a while. I probably should make this... I'm assuming we're going to have the same problem tomorrow, where I can only have 2 things. Do we need a gentleman's traveler top hat? I'm going to get rid of it. Left of the law set, kind of an interesting piece. We have a complete rest and recuperation set, which seems kind of cool. Heavy storm. I feel like heavy storm is important, right? Like, we're going into Siberia. You've already paid for the extra space once you missed the departure. You keep that extra space for the next departure. Oh, don't know. Okay. Okay. Military papers. I mean, we need that. That's important. These wool trousers, do we need these? They're only £1. And that way we could open up maybe... I mean, either way, we're not going to be completely, we're not going to completely drop out of a suitcase, so yeah, let's get you all brought up to date here. 71. Fresh tea. Oh, that sounds good. More draining than I expect. I don't know what you expected. Just want to be clear. This is embark. Extra space. We are going to eventually need to address all the crap we're carrying with us. It's just too much. I think traveling light is ideal. Settle into our seats. Not spending too much. That has to last us all the way around. Well, we got money in the bank, right? Let's top you up with a little bit of heart action here. The lines are thick here, and other trains pass ours frequently. Some are filled with settlers, and others with soldiers packed into 5th and 6th cars so closely that I wonder if they can even breathe. I saw a darker train go past, metal cars with iron gratings that seemed to cast shadows as it moved. It was a prison train, bound for nowhere. The criminals aboard were simply carried backwards and forwards across mountains, always moving, never stopping. I saw children's faces held up to the light. The prisoners not allowed to take their families with them. Whether that is mercy or a worse punishment for good conscience, I cannot tell. Converse. Okay. Glass of wine together, sure. Travel by freight train to Beijing. Okay. Hong Kong. Singapore. Dubai. Alright. So we kind of already knew about all of that. That stinks. Holds the mining camp. As per our tickets, we looked through the window and saw that there was nothing there, barely a building of any kind. I kind of began to doubt our plan. Ticket was a ticket. Oh, no. A terrible mistake. No departures today. That could be a problem, huh? Let's see if we can maybe cook up some goofiness here. If we can get all the way down here, that would be good. Mongol horse is tomorrow. Alright, explore. Taking this lovely area here. Surprisingly beautiful town, packed with so many churches, one could not look up or down any street corner without seeing a dome or steeple. We explored. Bridge made of tethered boats. My acrobatic skills made the crossing easy, but Monsieur Fogg found a most unpleasant business, and once across, refused to return to the other bank. On a street corner across the water, we saw a group of soldiers stop to turn to face the sun, praying bareheaded. There's a steady calm about this place. People are both devout and poor, despite the gold that flows through the city every day on its way to St. Petersburg. Their barges of precious metal are fast, but no good to us as they're heading the wrong way. Okay, hotel. Okay, heard the ferries moving back and forth, Lake Baikal, and nearby the mining machines cranked on through the night. Local people do not go out at night, I noticed. Could not tell if it was due to devotion or hard work, or if some terror roamed the streets. Whichever, I went out to explore. I found nothing but an old beggar who insisted on reading my palm. Sure. He screwed up his eyes before seeing a great boss in Hong Kong. I thanked him. He nodded and crept away. I mean, okay. No Hong Kong, you say. Where is Hong Kong? All the way down yonder. Can I not go out here? Do we have to go down now? All right, I guess we're bailing and going to buy this way. Did I miss it? I must have just missed it. So did I need to take the train, I guess, all the way to the end? It wasn't supposed to stop here, I guess. Go. All right. Good to know. We'll head to Beijing then, and I guess hopefully on the way maybe we can cut over across this space here, but worst case, you know, we won't. It was not a passenger service, but carrying large quantities of iron ore very slowly indeed. Still, we made ourselves as comfortable as we could. At least we're leaving Russia behind. Wait. French are the worst for short memories. Okay. Felt as though we were the only passengers aboard. Perhaps we were. I would not have been surprised if the guard had not taken money from a few others and stowed them in the adjoining cars. Converse. Greetings, guard. Yeah, let's ask about Beijing, I suppose. Do we learn anything there? Not really. Train swept on through endless countryside, getting faster hour by hour as it burnt through some of the stocks of coal it carried. Conversation, please. Amongst the other things I learned, that was the most efficient way to Yokohama was through Hong Kong. Evening drew. Train thundered on, seemingly without thought of pause. I guess we want to try to avoid Hong Kong based on the conversation we had. The evening of the third day, we approached the city of Urga. We've been told nothing about stopping here and had tickets to Beijing. Yeah, I'm not getting off the train this time. Of course, this time we probably should, but an hour went by, perhaps was refueled, then we were off once more, rattling against the bleak, empty steps. Fog. Yeah, fog it up. Oh. Okay, something happened. Oh, here we go. A quiet day that passed without incident. Train guard came and went, bringing food. A thin soup, in which noodles were floating like dying worms. I liked it. I think Fogg considered it vile, but he ate it all the same. Both of us cannot wait to be in the city. I am in roaring health. Very good. Okay, little trousers. Hope we can get out there. That'd be nice. Okay. Fogg became increasingly animated, ready for the next step of our journey. Well, yeah, he's at 95. He's cooking right now. This guy is in great spirits. Can be sold help for handsomely here. Oh, okay. $270 for the What is handsome here? Our fake passport's $270. 64 fur coat 57. You can have the hammer back. I don't need that. Where the heck is Merv? When will we find Merv? Let's get these out of here. Plan. I don't think we have a choice but to go down now to Hong Kong, which was not great. Like, if we can get over here, cut up or cut over from there, that would be the most ideal situation. Could have bought the time. Oh, was there a timetable? Oh. Good eye. Good eye there. Do we need the fur coat anymore? We're kind of out of Russia now, so I'm going to do that. Do we keep that bag no matter what? You sell the bag? Stetson hat. American wardrobe set. Keep that in mind. New routes discovered. Oh? Okay. Well, this is a route right here. This is what I'm talking about. See, Hawaii is on the board now. San Francisco. What is that down there? Tijuana or something? Good shout, Electric Dragon. It's too good. Okay, yeah, back to planning. I didn't even think of buying anything because I was like, how do I get rid of all of the crap that I have? If we can get here, this would be an amazing time save. Head to Yokohama and then go from there. Because if we get to San Francisco, we might be able to head up Canada from there. I guess Gastown could be in like the edge of Washington, but I don't know. Don't actually know. I guess we'll hotel. There were no airships sailing across the Beijing sky, nor any evidence of electrification, but they did not shun all technology. Palanquins were drawn by intricately worked and gilded iron lions, as often as human servants, and I saw animated metal and jade dragons. That snapped and glared at passers-by, perhaps to discouraging thieving. Oh, prime number hype. Very good. Welcome back, Slames James. 53 months. Let's go.
Prime number hype.
Let's go. Happy prime number. Thank you for resubbing, and you've been around as long as there have been subs on this channel, I believe. Thank you very much, Slames James. Welcome back. Let's go. It's many a month. You find us here in Beijing as we're looking at some mechanical lion things, I think. Furthermore, I was lucky enough to catch the inside of a most comfortable hotel, complete with complex steam rooms powered by a cunning arrangement of heating overground viaducts. My master no doubt wondered if we could sail them in a canoe. But for myself, I was content to lie back and sweat a little on the tiles. Streets of Beijing have sights to offer a traveler? Perhaps. I did not leave my comfortable room. Oops. Explore. Come on. Okay. Let's go. That's exactly what we wanted. Nothing here or there. All right. We still have the bit here, so I'm perfectly fine with this. Embark. Some buyers would pay well for passports. Oh, shoot. When does this leave? Just get on. I was like, I think we can buy that passport back. Unless we still have it. We might still have it. I can't remember. Alright, we boarded the Jiaking, a Chinese junk with billowing patterned sails and a red and gold phoenix painted upon its prow, bound for our destination. Do you take passengers often? Captain Zhao made a small gesture with his right hand as if waving away a stray thought. In peacetime we do, he said. It was not a surprising response. It had been 10 years since the last Opium War, but European powers in Russia still scratched at China's borders. Good verse. Greetings, Captain. They've got it locked down, indeed. Honolulu. Something about New Orleans there. I guess we're gonna have to address North America, South America at some point here. Let's keep talking. Hoping to find options for our next journey, and I picked up from a nervous Javanese ragamuffin that the traders who had sailed from Honolulu to Panama City were always open to healthy bribery. As night drew on, incredible stars filled the sky. It was most peaceful and a beautiful moment. It said you can pick up revolvers in Honolulu and sell them nicely in New Orleans. Okay. Cool. Converse. Money. We have enough for the moment. Home to the Russian Pacific Fleet. Automations to be decorative. Very good. Okay, so we're gonna have to hope that our buddies in Orsk can get us through here, because we're putting a lot of eggs in this basket up here. Because we could have just gone straight to Yokohama, but I don't know. We're kind of taking a little bit of a different path. Saw Captain Zhao reading a Chinese newspaper at breakfast and asked if he would tell me the news. It is out of date. The Shen Pao is printed in Shanghai. I only pick it up when I happen to dock there. What's the most interesting story? The paper is campaigning against the employment of young women in opium bars in the French concession, pointed at the article in question. They're often asked to perform immoral services. French traders must be up in arms. It has turned into quite an uproar. I spent a stimulating afternoon in discussion with Captain Zhao as the wind filled our fully battened sails and sped us on our way. Strengthen slightly. Automations, sorry, automatons. All right, let's see. I was keen to see what it had to offer. Yeah, it was certainly a martial area. Still, there was nothing for it. I hurried after my master into the city. Automated tons. Oh, I did sell it. Did I? Yeah. Traveling cloak. Oil paints. Valuable. Okay, San Pedro. Perhaps we'd go in there. Alright, I don't think I need anything necessarily there. We will explore. I was hoping I had forgotten. Okay. The military port looked over the calm black water of the Sea of Japan and was populated largely by sailors of the Far East Fleet and a mix of Chinese, Korean, and Russian residents. Yeah, let's visit the sailor town. Hastily constructed set of low buildings sprawling out from the harbor. Sailors drank lemon tea or vodka in every doorway and talked of only one thing, the possibility of war with Japan. Yeah, let's talk to the female communications officer, who sighed heavily. It is the railway. Japan fears how close Moscow has become. Is Japan right to be afraid? Well, look what Moscow has done to Siberia. She turned away from me. Britain and France have their empires in Indochina, and the Tsar is looking eastwards as well. After all, on a clear day, you can almost see the shores of Japan from here. A sobering thought. An hour is getting late by the time I made it back to my hotel, but my adventure was far from over. An imposing imperial officer accosted me. Reception suggested me to a thorough search. I gave no objection. Finally pulling out the military papers prepared for us in Omsk. Governor of Omsk is a powerful man. My fullest apologies. Forgive him. He listened most attentively, nodding seriously. My fullest apologies, he repeated, when my anger had abated. But please show these papers as you travel. You will find they speed everything along. With that, he clicked his heels and left the room. Made a most unbecoming gesture. We'll let him go. Breathed a sigh of relief. Fogg, however, merely checked the pocket watch and made a note in his book. Okay. I don't want to go there. I think I'd like to go to Yokohama, yeah? Tomorrow at 3 p.m. Most efficient way is through Hong Kong. Well, that is not... We're not going to be able to do that. This is going to I think we're gonna wait for this one to come through. I'm all good with that. Tempted to buy things, but I feel like there's, I mean, what do we need? Traveling cloak? Are we a gentleman traveler? I suppose we are. Oh, we can get rid of the timetable, right? Isn't that what we've kind of figured out here? Well, you're gonna sell this in Yokohama for sure. I guess let's get out of Russia, and then we'll kind of we can kind of figure it out. You can't get rid of it. All right, get it out of there. Take the pound. Thank you kindly. Cold climate. I guess we're going north a little. Let's get the little gloves for fun. Hotel. Yeah, that's why I brought it up, because I thought that's how I interpreted it. All right, you are in great shape, so I'm going to... Oh, money? Can we get some money here? 53 pounds. Okay, I don't know how worth it that is, but... I mean, that's one ticket somewhere, right? When does this leave? Negotiate. They want $1,000 to leave tomorrow. What is today? Saturday. Okay. Two days. It says it leaves in 2 days. Holy cow. All right. Thoroughly ungentlemanly behavior. 780 to leave right away. I mean, I think we'll wait it out a little bit. Is there a bank here? Maybe we want to... Oh, it's the weekend. I guess we'll... Can we explore or something? Or... Not really much to do here. Hotel. Took a room and settled in. Made certain to repack and iron everything. Ran a few errands for the hotelier. Let's talk. Let's talk. Maybe we can get a little some, you know? Everybody's in good shape. Little use. Great. Oops. No, 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 no. Yeah, alright, tomorrow. Tomorrow we can do it. Not ideal, but we are low on the cash money. Dun 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 dun. All right, we should be able to leave now. We'll get some cash, I guess. 73 pounds. Something, you know. There, Yokohama. Okay, here we go. Oh yeah, I should have stopped for the bank. We'll get the bank in Yokohama for sure. They avoided the Russian military ships and instead took passage on a Korean vessel, crewed by a mix of Koreans, Mongolians, and Siberians who regarded Fog with grave curiosity. I considered charging £1 to look for him. I might have made 20 pounds. They continued to goggle at my master with mild disbelief until he retreated below deck with the slightest of furrows etching his brow. Attempts to round the world adventure. Well, it's us. It's our adventure. For the first day abroad, we kept ourselves mostly to ourselves. The crew seemed busy with their task, and I was happy to have fewer of those myself, or in honesty, I did not like the look of most of them. Fogg was his usual impervious self, however. He had made his calculations and read his newspaper. Meanwhile, the boat steamed onwards. His journey spreading, probably, right? Converse. Greetings. Good day, Frenchman. Yokohama. Quickest way. Excellent. I think on Young and Stilly. Okay, I mean, I'm happy that you tie your shoes. For some reason, I thought we already had a way out to San Francisco from there, but perhaps that's not the case. Oh, here we go. Look at that. All the way to T-Dot. Let's go. Yamanamana. One of the cabin girls, Elena, spoke good English and was attached to us as a translator, though she created as much conversation as she I don't know, you know. You know my parents? I doubt it, since I just met you. My father was a Russian officer, maybe, I think, and Mama comes from a famous Cossack family. They're all soldiers. A Russian officer, maybe? I raised an eyebrow. Well, Mama met him when she was dressed as a man and joined the Cossack host. He was very surprised, I think. Mama says he died of shock, leaving me as a present. I think he probably ran away because Mama is so fierce. She looked proud rather than distressed at the prospect. I blinked down at the little cabin girl, rather at a loss as how I should respond. That's nice, I hazarded. She nodded enthusiastically. Mama runs the boiler room. All the sailors are frightened of her. One day I will be like her. She made a mock fierce face. Pretended to quake in terror, and I pretended to quake in terror until we both began laughing uproariously. I'd like to meet her. I will ask. I probably should have produced my papers, but, you know, yeah. Rumblings intensify of Russo-Japanese war. Hopefully we're out of here before we gotta worry about that. Mama says she wants to meet you. Will you come? Yeah, let's do it. We descended into the bowels of the ship. I felt heat and noise of the engine before I saw it. The rumbling whistle of the boilers, the shouts of the men shoveling coal, the thumping of the pistons, the groan of metal. A woman with muscular arms sheened with sweat and hair shorn to her ears presided over the activity with well-worn confidence. She glanced over to us and grunted. I grunted in return. She gave me a cautious nod of approval, while Elena chattered away in an unintelligible dialect. The formidable woman regarded her daughter with a certain detachment, which masked deep adoration. Girl bloomed underneath her mama's merest glance. We took our leave soon after, and Elena smiled at me radiantly. Isn't she wonderful? Yes. Elena bestowed another bright smile upon me. All right. Elena laughed as I hung over the ship's rail to get a better view of Yokohama as we neared the port. She gave me a hug goodbye, which surprised me, though her mother watched me with her hard eyes throughout our exchange. We weighed anchor as the sun set. We lit the foreign flags of the harbor with bright fire as it dipped below the horizon. Okay. Yes. Yeah, let's sell that, if you can hear me here. Elastic wallet. Urban Traveler set. Burlington. I mean, eventually we might find ourselves in Burlington. Take the wallet as well. Anything else we want to get rid of? Probably don't need... This is warmth, though, right? Probably good. Cold climates that I'll hang on to. 30. We'll hit the bank. Regarded the manager of the bank. We entered a small, sweaty woman who greeted us with suspicious glee. You want to make a withdrawal? You may have to wait a day or two. It's Thursday. Alright, we'll take 700 tomorrow. Okay. Explore. Okay. Not the most helpful of routes in our current state, but maybe we need that. Hard to believe that Yokohama had only relatively recently opened to foreigners. There was an entire foreigners district not far from the waterfront, where it was common to hear Chinese or Russian as Japanese. There were several varieties of English to choose from as well, although Fogg would have barely deigned to include the nasal tongue of the American merchants. I noticed a Japanese man watching the scene with a look of intense concentration while scribbling in a notebook. Leaned in for a look. He was drawing a stylized picture of the foreign quarters with quick pen strokes, which stopped abruptly as my shadow fell over the drawing. He looked up, clearly irritated. "Do you mind?" he said, his accent an unholy mix of Dutch, French, and English. "I'm making a drawing for a woodcut." Is that American peer drunk? I wondered aloud. And he covered his drawing jealously. It is an artistic impression of the foreigners, he stressed. Well, it certainly is artistic, I allowed. The scene on the page was much more lively than the merchants haggling, their wives and children riding about in carriages. "You're very strange people," he pronounced after a brief silence. "Everyone is strange," I replied thoughtfully, thinking of my travels. He shrugged, clearly unconvinced. He colored one of the women's skirts lovingly. His hand on the page, much gentler and kinder than his voice had been. Finally, he thrust the paper in my direction, assuring me that it was only a preliminary sketch. I accepted gracefully. Charmed that he had chosen to bestow a gift upon a near stranger, I stored it carefully. It was a fine souvenir of Yokohama. Should fetch a good price in San Pedro. If we don't find a use for it, let's go. Where the heck is San Pedro? It feels like we're gonna get... Oh, there it is. We're gonna have a lot of things to sell over there, and buy a bunch of guns, right? I mean, look at that though. Calgary to Toronto in one go. Probably a little bit of a expensive trip. How much is this? $4 grand. All right, we might be here in Yokohama for a little while, folks. We might need to wait a little bit longer. As night fell, I afforded, well, I would like to... I'm gonna stretch my legs. I don't think we're gonna make $4 grand by doing errands for the hotel. Found a nervous Chinese youth who was searching for a dog, which I found near a food stall. The youth thanked me and we talked, remarked that you could pick up buffalo hides in Honolulu, which is extremely valuable in Omaha. Okay. Out of Nebraska. Paid £1 for the information. He nodded and moved away. Your funds have gone down a touch. Funds are ready to collect. Yes, indeed. Yeah, the only thing we can do here is head... We could head to Manila. 2:30 and then try... I mean, the other option, I suppose, is the fact that if there's a way to get to Honolulu... I know we're backtracking technically, but like maybe there's a way into Honolulu, because this could be a cheaper path to get into, what is this, to Panama City. It's a tough one. All right, let's get our money. Apparently we're going to need a little bit more money than that. We need $4 grand for those tickets. In a week. All right. I don't know if I feel comfortable with this. I thought this was going to be a little bit easier, but I guess we don't want to gamble on going to Manila either. Another 3 days to wait for the transfer of funds. So we made ourselves comfortable. Whoa. Let's just wait for 9 a.m. to come through. it's possible that actually I think we're only going to have 3 grand at the end of this too. So I might take it and run. We'll see what happens. Either way, we need the money, so it's all good. Curb your fashionable tastes. That's probably fair. Because I would love to take this trip. Negotiate, yes. Okay. I thought that maybe we could negotiate it down. It's only 2:30. We can head to Manila. I'm gonna go for it. The worst case, I guess, is that we come back to Yokohama again with some more money, maybe, but maybe we get down there and it's like, oh, you can get to Honolulu doing this or something, you know? Try to see if we can get something on the trip. French engineers by naval conscripts. All right. Yeah, the same depth, I guess. Don't want to over do it. Welcome aboard. With God's grace, we will have a swift journey. Converse. Yeah, please tell me everything you know. Manila. No. Sure. Madras. Panama City. Oh, that would be amazing if we could get out to there. But... Alright, I encountered Captain Pursue on the deck in the morning and noticed that she wore a katana and a beautifully worked sheath. That is a beautiful weapon, I said reverently, having been swept away by the recent Parisian fashion for Japanisme. She ducked her head a little bit. It is not a military issue. It has a personal value to me. Sound of encouragement, but she did not take the cue to continue. Oh well, it'll be enough time to know her better on our journey. That's for a shortcut, indeed. Indeed. In the morning, I saw the captain praying at the little Protestant chapel besides the galley. What do you pray for, Captain? I asked. I pray for the health and long life of Emperor Meiji. Meiji. She said so fervently that the commonplace words rang with the truth. He looks to the west, and thus towards progress. I considered her words. And are you the product of the progress? Her hand closed over the hilt of her katana. 5 years ago, it was illegal for a peasant or a woman to wear a sword. Now Emperor Meiji has given me a warship. Yet you wear a samurai's katana, I pointed out. A look of sadness crossed her face. It was my grandfather's. The men of my family are all samurai. They must be very proud of you. No, my father is still loyal to the daimyo and fights against the emperor. Oh, jeez. Your father does not believe in progress. She gave me a tired smile. The emperor has reduced the samurai's privileges and cut their wages. My father is angry. Will he change his mind? I hope so. For he cannot stand against the march of progress and the might of Imperial Japan. An officer came to fetch her away for some pressing duty. And I was left to my whirling thoughts. Your character is now courageous and zestful. Don't forget, we're also zestful. Adverse. Journey. Old trousers. Health. Very zestful. Manila Harbor was a desolate, desperate-looking place. Shigawa was a regal sight as she pulled up to the docks. Good health to your emperor. I called as we disembarked. And you, do not drink the water. Good to know. That's always a helpful travel tip. A railway cap should be sold handsomely here. Okay. Panama hat. American timetable. Yes. Please. Ooh, a neck cushion. New routes discovered. Okay. I mean, we already have a very clear path through Canada right now, but it's not going to hurt, you know what I mean? Sure. Okay, how expensive is this going to be, though? I was right, though. I mean, the trip to Honolulu has to be a little bit cheaper, right? We arrived at the Spanish-governed capital of Manila at most inopportune time. The city had recently suffered a major typhoon. The efforts at rebuilding had been stalled by an outbreak of the dreaded cholera. Boy, Oregon Trail leaking. Images of San Roque. A saint invoked against pestilence decorated almost every building and vehicle, but to it little effect. Infected establishments were burned daily by the sanitary board, with our hotel one of the casualties. We relocated near to the telephone exchange, taking the mechanical horse-pulled tram. Concerned with the possibility of infection, I insured Monsieur Fogg. Well, we want to avoid drinking the water, right? Does boiled water make it good? That's how I'm supposed to understand this. Staying warm? I mean, Manila's a pretty warm spot, I think. Boiled water, as recommended by Jon Snow's article in the Medical Times and Gazette, going to the lengths of preventing him from any uncooked foods and fear of contamination. He strips bad water. Water's gone bad. From our window, I can see carts piled high with the dead being taken to a mountain to be burned rather than in a churchyard, which put me in a morbid frame of mind. Yeah, let's send a message. Dear Maman. Meaningless details of my travels. I will not tell you the particulars, as they are private and should remain between a man and his mother. Made my way back to Monsieur Fogg under the fragrant coconut oil lamps, eager to depart from this city riven by sickness and death. All right, let's have a look at what our options are here, because we've got a load of stuff. 7:30. Oh, now that is what I am talking about. So also options to go to Singapore, Batavia, not Port Moresby, but that is on the map. It's an airship. Oh, cool. Can pick up harmonicas, extremely valuable in New Orleans. Okay. Cool. All right. Well, we have the money. So we shall hotel. Until the time is right. Before going to bed, yeah, I guess we'll explore. Don't get sick. We did it. Depart. Can't cut out here yet, right? Oh, no, we can. Honolulu, yes. Ample. Okay. We're going to want to take care of Fogg on this trip here. We boarded the Reina Cristina, a Spanish Torres Quevedo type airship that's gondola shaped to resemble one of the infamous Spanish galleons of previous centuries, and is as richly outfitted with Philippine hardwood furniture, Fijian steel curtains, and lacquered ornamental automata. Imported from China. My cabin resembled a fashionable salon more than an airship berth. Strengthened. Lightly. Take care of fog. And our journey to Honolulu would take 4 days. An air trip travel would refuel and go on without us. From there, we had other plans. Omsk independence hopes dashed. Oh no, poor Omsk. The Filipino crew spoke a mix of Tagalog and Spanish, all mixed in with Lascar sailors' cant, which utterly fascinated me, though I did not have the skill to understand it. Don't bother trying to learn it, the captain remarked in elegant Spanish. You need a sailor's heart to do so. Do you know it? I'm the captain of the ship you're traveling upon. You should hope I have a sailor's heart. I think you do. Could not help giving him a smile, which he returned rather rakishly. Truly. I meet the most remarkable people as the captain of airship. Okay, good conversation. I probably could have done a bit more. Fog. Portrait of King Amadeo. The first hung in one of the relatively unused corridors of the gondola. Which I was hoping, exploring in the hope of the, finding a secret or two. That sounds interesting. And indeed, I stumbled across a small room set with a crucifix and an altar. Clearly someone aboard was literally a closet Christian. Over dinner, the captain told me about Honolulu, where we would stop on the morrow, and if I believed his telling, it was a giddy paradise. It was all ripe-fleshed guavas and shark steaks. Sure. Cooked over coals on soft-sandaled beaches, lapped by pure blue water. As I settled down for the night, I was struck by an unrelated thought. A dateline. I have altered our watch already. Did you think I'd forget? My master was of course correct. With an eye such as his, it was unthinkable that he might miss such a detail. We had reached the point directly opposite Greenwich. For the hours we had lost traveling around the Earth were added back. A whole extra day. Cool. Fog. We arrived into Honolulu Bay in good time, and the crew landed us, deflated the envelope to refill it. It was a while before we could retrieve our things. I watched them work. Their efficiency was most gratifying. Men and women swarmed all over the balloon as it fell onto itself, jumping clear at the last moment, swinging away on guy ropes that themselves were falling slack. We were then discharged from our duty as passengers, and the airship lifted away into the sky. We should explore a little. Okay, good. As though Honolulu lived. In one indrawn breath, the wheeling swathed the sky, white-laced waves, and pristine sand bounded by black volcanic bluffs. The town was entirely hidden behind the groves of coconut and eucalyptus. Well, we'll take a short tour. Stay alive. You look, said our coach driver, Hila, like city folk. What do they look like? I wondered aloud. All bent and crabbed over, their eyes fixed on the horizon, always in a rush. He murmured something to his horse, which looked well fed and spirited. As a young man, I went to San Francisco to make my fortune. I too ran and scrabbled, pursuit of the almighty dollar. Pursuing wealth, monsieur. I corrected. Though indeed, Fogg's fortune hung in the balance of his wager. Was our entire adventure merely a glorified pursuit of coin? Our adventure thus far had been someone, harum-scarum. Barely we had placed our toes on dry land. Oh, I had seen so many wonders, and yet each day had been ultimately reduced to another mark on my master's ledger. Do you not wish the freedom to exhale? The coach driver asked. To stop running, to simply feel the wind upon your face and the sun warming you up and the sound of the ocean like a heartbeat? I'll take my moments where I may, I agreed. With my masters, that's where I find peace, or if not peace, surely purpose. As much of the same. A man may find himself here, he told me, but only if he wishes it. He invited us to his home that evening and fed us dough like poi and bright fleshed slices of orange and guava. I thought for once about peace and purpose. Instead of the distance and yet to travel, my own purpose remained undimmed. But Honolulu was a pause, a moment pulled free of the past and future, containing only the taste of guava and salt, freshened wind. We finished our day in Honolulu with a souvenir, a swirling conch shell we collected from the beach as we walked back to the docks. Yes. Strengthened. Good price in Dallas. Okay. Good to know. We've got a lot of junk. Alright, so what are our options here? San Francisco for $1,000. Acapulco. Oh, we can't get to Acapulco. We have to go Panama City for $2,100. Arrives Thursday, arrives Saturday. I mean, I think Panama City gets us further through, but we've got a lot of paths to take once we get into sort of North America, right? So I feel like San Francisco is maybe the way we want to go, because we have a lot more connections, and then we have to sort out how to get over to London again, but, you know. I think that's a doable thing, right? Let's hotel it. We have the money for it, too. We have to kind of keep that in mind. We made ourselves comfortable for the night. Yeah, I'll explore a little bit. Found a cheerful little Irish seamstress who had mislaid a locket, which I spotted, who then, between outbursts of great joviality, mentioned the quickest way to Salt Lake City is through San Francisco. I thanked her, and then she shrugged and went about her affairs. Holy moly. A lot of reading going on here. Brain is braining right now, big time. So we can leave for that now. Now the downside of this is that oh, the monkey wrench. A further grant. But we can leave now? Okay. On the banana boat. Yes. Okay, we're gonna have to be a little careful with some cash here. Hopefully it will strike our own riches in San Francisco, unlike the other guy we were talking to. Oh, the trip was cheaper. I thought we moved it up a day or something like that. Excellent. All right, let me just take one moment here, folks, since the time has paused, just to get like a little drink of water here, because I've been reading relentlessly. This game is very, very fun. And I'm realizing I've been just streaming nonstop for nearly 3 hours now. Let's go. Oh, Bonnie treat. Yeah, good call. Good call. You're 100% right, Mini Roach. I think we have a couple treats actually to catch up on. So we'll get one for Summer here. Thanks for pulling me out of that. And we have one for Umbar as well. Here she comes. Big yawn for a sleepy dog, but always down for a treat. The first one coming in from Umbar. Thank you, Umbar. And the most recent one, of course, coming in from Summer. Thank you, Summer. Tasty treats for a sleepy dog. Oh, the profile yawn. Take a quiet moment here. All the traveling, right? Big lean happening here. This is a good scritch spot, I think. Oh, very good. Right. All right, keep the treats coming, she says. Thank you, Bonnie. Thank y'all for the treats. All right, let's continue. We boarded a steam barge from Honolulu to San Francisco. The scent of ripe bananas pervaded every plank and decking of the bulkhead, a sweet and deliciously rotting odor, which I'd become rather accustomed to on the voyage, much to the detriment of my keen sense of smell. Converse. Mind the wallet I saw. Let's talk about San Francisco. Yeah, let's talk about San Pedro could be good. I'm interested in that. Some buyers will pay well. Do you have 8 children? No. Vegas. Vegas would be good. Houston. Most generous. Oh, okay, we just gave that away. Very good. Houston. Quickest way from Houston is to go there. New Orleans keeps getting brought up. Probably worth asking about New Orleans. They say you can obtain trombones in New Orleans that will sell for a fortune in New York. New York City. Trombone capital of the world. I already feel bad for this pun. I huffed, attempting to convince my mouth that I ate fried kippers and potatoes at breakfast. Everything smells of bananas. Monsieur Fogg replied that he could not smell a thing, which I took to be his queerly English sense of humor. Still, if bananas would be to be the worst of my troubles, or board this boat, then that would be no bad thing. That's the spirit. Yeah, we're good. I woke in the middle of the night, convinced that someone was in the cabin with me. Stayed very still and listened. There was a long, wave-lapped silence until I heard distinctly a dragging shuffle. Opened my eyes and looked up. My heart beating impossibly loud in my chest. In the distance, I saw a sheen pair of eyes, gazing vacantly into the distance. Monsieur Fogg, I cried. My midnight visitor blinked and straightened, looked about my cabin with in genteel surprise. What am I doing in your cabin? Well, you would know better than I exclaimed passionately, rather upturned by his sudden appearance. He took a sharp breath. It seems I have been sleepwalking, he said, his voice almost tremulous. Tremulous. I have not done so since a child. Please accept my apologies. Would you like to stay for a while? I am awake after all. He hesitated for a moment. I would like that, thank you. They've deteriorated slightly. What the heck was I supposed to do there? Let's give you a comb then, because holy moly, you might need it. I feel well cared for. Captain Kalani was a heavily pregnant Hawaiian woman who found Monsieur Fogg's English accent a source of great mirth. Say something else, she demanded over breakfast. Please, Mr. Fogg. I distracted her with some idle talk. My master cast me a grateful look. All in a day's work for a valet of my impeachable caliber. We were strengthened backed up again. More intimate. Converse. English poetry. San Francisco. Salt Lake City. Salt Lake City. I awoke to a frantic knocking at my door and opened it to find Fogg actually wringing his hands. Quickly. Grim. Oh, okay. Followed him, certain that something truly unspeakable was afoot, and I was not wrong. My master opened the door to his cabin to reveal Captain Kalani, red-faced and moaning upon his bed. She had turned her baleful gaze in our direction. I'm having my baby early. You must help me. Hey, good evening. Hello. Okay, well, we will deliver fog to London, and we will deliver this baby. What should I do? I had intended to ask a question, but it came out more like a shout. Will one of you hold my bloody hand? The other fetch some blasted water. I will fetch the water. Left me to hold the hand. Are you in much pain? She gave me a look so full of venom. But I felt a sudden sweat pricking my brow. Then she moaned aloud. Fog returned with a bucket of water, but our respite was short-lived. Captain Kalani parted her knees. One of you must catch the baby. I'll do it. Sure, why not? What are we doing? She relinquished her hand to Monsieur Fogg. I tried to compose my expression to something cool and medical and detached, but I fear I met with mixed success at best. After an infinitely long, infinitely terrifying interval, which I have not the means to describe, I held a small, squalling, red-faced baby in my arms. Yeah, I took off my own jacket and wiped the birth fluids from the baby's face, calling it a worthwhile loss. Gave it to her. It is, well, you may see for yourself, I said in a sudden hush. Kalani was sweaty and wide-eyed and utterly exhausted. She held the baby to her chest as though it were an infinitely precious thing. She began to sing to her little girl a song of whales and ocean waves and airships that hung like moons in the sky. How did we not get closer in that situation? We birthed a baby, well, we delivered a baby together. She did the birthing, let's be clear. That's a pretty galvanizing moment, I think. Anyways, Captain Kalani's indisposition the previous day did not delay us in the least. She had a well-trained and loyal crew who seemed to have collectively adopting her little girl as one of their own. I will call her Jean, Captain Kalani told us as we tethered in San Francisco. You are excellent midwives. Shuddered at the memory. I was overcome. Yeah, Kalani will remember that. I was overcome and ducked my head like a boy from the countryside. The name suits her, madame. She'll wear it better than I have. I turned towards San Francisco Bay with a renewed hope. After all, whatever challenge it offered, I could scarcely be more taxing than what we had just overcome. San Francisco. Let's do it. Oh, it's a gun. And driving goggles. All kinds of good stuff here. Valuable in Chicago, Houston, and Regina. I think it's Regina. Oh, our conch shell. I don't think we necessarily need knitted gloves. We definitely want the gun, I feel like. Although we don't have a lot of money. Let's maybe bank it quick. Let's talk to the manager. Well-dressed, calm lady who met us with greedy professionalism. Today is Friday. Let's do the $3,000 for Wednesday. I'm cool with an exploration and hanging out because then we can address the rest of this. Okay, Gastown now on the map. Salt Lake City on the there's Burlington as well. San Francisco seemed less a city and a more a ravenous beast bent on consumption of everything, even of itself. Within the ever-expanding city limits, the enormous steam-powered drills and diggers flattened hills, straightened roads and reformed neighborhoods, then dumped at the resulting rubble and stone into the Mission Bay. I sloped towards a recently constructed Long Bridge, which was crowded with families out for a stroll, and people fishing for silvery smelt with long poles. In the water was a jangle of rowing boats racing each other and boatmen taking passengers out to Mission Rock. Cheers and good-natured shouts emitted from halfway house in the middle of the bridge. I peered at the halfway house and surmised from the revels I saw spilling out of its doors that it was some manner of drinking den. A man, red-faced and somewhat worse for drink, bumped into me. I excused myself. He made an apology in return, slinging an arm around my shoulders. "Oh, hello!" he exclaimed. "You don't sound like you're from around here." You don't sound American either," I retorted. "No matter, I was Dutch once in a past life, but now I am as American as President Grant. This is the land of newcomers. You a prospector?" "I'm a magician." "A traveler." I said, "I'm traveling around the world." He laughed. "Oh, yeah. I'm a Navajo chief." I insist on the truth. "Actually, I'm a jewel thief on the run." "What, really?" His eyes widened and then slapped his thigh. "That's incredible." The brown-skinned woman slipped her arm into his. I regarded her. She was wearing a ruffled walking dress in the latest European style, but with a short, tasseled jacket embroidered with the patterns of her tribe. "Oh, my manners." He shook his ruddy face. "I am Anders, and this is my wife, Jenny. A pleasure to meet you." I kissed her hand. She was surprised but smiled. "Always a pleasure to meet Anders' friends." She looked askance at the whiskey flask in his hands, but seemed to find me unobjectable. Anders is Dutch for different. Oh, interesting. Okay. I hesitated. The obvious question about her origins at the tip of my tongue. I swallowed back the question, though clearly with visible effort, for she laughed with full-throated pleasure. "I'm of the Modoc tribe. What the new Americans call Indians." Jenny rolled her eyes. I do not mind your surprise. Most of my tribe has been taken to the Klamath Reservation in Oregon. But you're not with them, I observed, realizing my faux pas as the words stumbled from my unthinking lips. Jenny sucked in a deep breath. "I left my tribe," she whispered. Anders squeezed her hand. "I fell in love. In this world, women leave their families for their husbands. I made a home of my choosing, which is more freedom than my tribe can claim." Anders whispered something into Jenny's ear, and she laughed, though I feared I had opened up an old wound with my prying questions. I nodded and found my way back to Monsieur Fogg, who was sitting drinking tea with a disconsolate frown. "It tastes like soap," he remarked. I would say no more. All right, let me get another water here. Oh, yeah, I forgot about the day thing. That probably is a big problem. Day 46 here. That's a good point. Well, we'll take this moment to plan then, because we need to think about that. 190, 110. I think once we get our money, I'm a little tempted to just fire up to Gastown and then let it rip out to Toronto and then go from there. Because I think ultimately we must be able to get from New York, maybe Quebec City as well. But like, I feel like these are like, even in this time period, like a hub where we might be able to get across the pond here and just, I don't know if we need to work our way up from somewhere south, but you know, that's the plan. This is going to be quite a trip as well. It's hard to say. I don't really know if this like kind of piecemealing it like this is going to be faster, but I feel like the direct route of this might be the way, excuse me, to go. All right. Where's my menu? Hotel. I headed towards Chinatown to eat. It was a warren of crowded wooden and brick houses, temples, businesses, herbalists, laundries, market stalls selling fruit and flowers. I was interested in conversation, so I decided to approach. A young man with a Q ponytail was relaxing outside a small shop with arms outstretched. He seemed to me to be a wrestler, despite his slender frame. His arms were heavily muscled. His name was Jing Ho. He was enjoying his single day off from working in the Transcontinental Railway to New York. Here we go. Is the line done? I asked. He shot me a weary look. Nearly, but no. Outlaws keep stealing length of track. It is open to the public as far as Burlington. Still, I should not complain. At least I have a job. What would he do once the railway was complete? Alas, I had no time to ponder this, as I had to bid him a hasty goodbye and return to my master. Okay, so I definitely don't want to depart. 400 bucks to get to Burlington, though, which is pretty good, but that's where it ends. We would have to find a different way anyway. 400, 90, 110. It's got to be cheaper going through Canada, yeah? It's got to be. All right, 7:30 a.m. I'm picking up a gun. Wine. Is there anything else that we need to do here? Should we get rid of this plate? 53 is pretty good. We can scoot the conch shell over here and move this in. We need the knitted gloves. We need the amethyst. Valuable in Gastown. Okay, we'll save that. I don't think we're going to need the warm climate thing here anymore. Oklahoma Sketch. San Pedro. Not going that way. Far past Merv. Okay. I always wonder where Merv might be. Okay. I guess, do we want the... I think I'm going to do the Wool Travelers switch out for driving goggles. We'll roll with that. We need to wait for the bank to come through for us, so we'll hotel. Hey, Soul Driver. Yeah, happy Mother's Day. Who dropped the message in here earlier? Oh, Spade did with the 215 stream streak, by the way. Holy cow, I just brushed right over that earlier in the stream. He said to remember to call your mother today. Very good. Holy cow, that's a long one. But welcome in, Soul Driver. Oops. We had 3 days to wait for our money to arrive from London. Yeah, I'm cool just kind of exploring, I think. With what remained of the day, we kept ourselves occupied. He is fine. I'll stretch my legs one more time. Held a discussion with a somewhat frenetic Chinese gentleman who is searching for a dog, which I found near a dog kennel. We're so good at finding things. The gentleman thanked me, and as we talked, he remarked that you could pick up sugar canes in Acapulco, extremely valuable in Burlington. Assured him we're unlikely to head that way, to which my friend smiled. I can't understand travel, but yet here I stand. Okay. Hotel. 2 days to wait for the bank. He's good. Again, I'm just going to polish some shoes. We'll get a little... 103 pounds. Yeah, thank you very much for that. A few more days. Day 50. We got to keep our... We're going to have to... We're all in on this northern path here. 87 pounds. Wait 1 day. He's good. Do I want to explore one more time? Why not? Nervous American youth in a heated altercation with a local chef, from which I learned several curious facts about wolves. All right. Oh, good to know. We're good on that. It's always good to know about wolves. Let's pick up our cash money. We are loaded. I hope this is enough to get the ball rolling here. Oh, a gyrocopter? Is that what we're taking? Rough skies, but we've got the... I probably should have kept the other thing for warm climate, but we'll be fine. We took passage with one Monsieur Williamson, a dark-haired, keen-eyed fellow, a magnificent leather coat, and more relevantly to our requirements, a well-used gyrocopter. You make this journey often? I inquired. Every month, he told me jovially enough. The city folk in San Francisco can't get enough furs, and I visit regularly to ply my trade. Could not see any space for cargo. I had wondered if he was in fact a smuggler rather than a fur trader. He must have seen something in my expression, for he laughed and elaborated. On the southbound journey, the furs were piled high, where you and your master sit, though it's not as high as I would have liked. I have a bad reason. I remained silent, sensing he did not want to speak of the matter. We began our journey north in heavy quiet. But we immediately converse. Ah, the view. Tell me about Gastown. Mention trains. Yeah. Omaha. Okay, so we can get through Duluth, fly high Duluth, to Chicago from Winnipeg. Interesting. We saw the smoke and steam of San Francisco on its full scale as we left the city. Great Iron Line, cross-continental railway, snaked east over the horizon. Enterprise almost too vast to contemplate. How do you find the city? He wiped some soot from his goggles and grinned. San Francisco is a place where a man may make his mark, where he has no history but what he creates for himself. Would you be one of these new men? I said shrilly, shroud of history, ready to make your mark. He sighed heavily. My mother has a passion for history. She fought for a better treatment of the First Nations tribes. Thought that we Canadians were destroying their lands, their heritage. She even married and had a child with a Musqueam, sorry for the pronunciation, tribesman. He indicated his own person as with a flourish. Do you regret your circumstances? He shook his head. What did it serve them? My mother is a laughingstock amongst her peers, and my father's people dwindled to nothingness. Their history is a burden I do not wish to carry. I understand. Wish you luck in whatever you choose to be. He smiled and turned away. Gyrocopter. Would you like to talk about money? Okay. The second day, we flew down the endless forested coast, and it seemed as though we traveled across a different planet than the one of my birth. It's not generosity, and that's a pretty good line. It seems though, yes. It is a wilderness. That it is, Williamson agreed, though I saw my master politely look askance, which would mean that he disagreed, though I could hardly see how that was possible. Williamson shot me a grateful look and shook my hand with a great care as we landed in Gastown's tiny airport. Good luck to you, too, he told me fervently. Perhaps you will find yourself anew here also. Amethyst can be sold handsomely here. Well, we have that. Buffalo hide. And this even fit in here? That's crazy. Chicago, Winnipeg, 140. I'll get this, and now, you know, if we end up in Chicago, then we end up in Chicago. Arrives next Friday, departs tomorrow. I guess the question is, do we want to go via Calgary or not? Hard to say. Gastown was supposedly named after one Gassy Jack, a Yorkshire steamboat captain turned barkeep. It served as a drinking hole for loggers and fishermen from the inland, as well as sailors and aircrews of ships drawn to the Burrard Inlet trade. Burrard. It was a rough and ready sort of place. In the mood to enjoy it. Simple, largely alcoholic pleasures. I fell in conversation with a logger. But she was a woman of few words and fewer number of fingers, which she nursed one beer after another. The one luxury in this town was its distributed steam heating system. Steam hissed warmly through grates in the town's pavements, and groups of drunks and vagrants curled up on top of them to ward off the chill. A strange symbol of the society's progress, but one that was no doubt as potent as the newly built depot for the Canadian Pacific Railway parallel to Water Street. Gastown was, for better or worse, a truly modern town. Calgary is linked to Toronto. It seems like I can't necessarily take that one. We can at least get to Calgary, so that might be the way to go. We'll just go to Calgary first and then feel it out. We'll sleep in here. The last few hours of the evening, we'll talk. Some buyers would pay well for harmonicas from Winnipeg. Meet you there for food. Excellent. Excellent. So we can get to Winnipeg and hope that maybe we get to Ottawa. I feel like that's a little bit of a gamble. I'm going to go straight up. Let's go to Calgary. And hope that we can get there in time. Conductor, a dark-haired First Nations woman, eyed me dubiously. Is this the first time on the Canadian Pacific Railway, she asked. Indeed it is. She refrained from rolling her eyes. The line runs from Gastown all the way to Ottawa, though you have to change at Winnipeg. It's the first transcontinental railway in the Dominion of Canada. She paused, fixing me with a look. I feel like she's not going to want to hear this, but we're going around the world. So this line will be most advantageous to us. She was nonplussed. The railway isn't owned by a government or by a private company, but by the Blackfoot Confederacy. This here is First Nations territory, so no smoking, no liquor, no firearms, you hear? No liquor. The entire railway belongs to the Blackfeet. I raised a brow. Crossed her arms. We've got a treaty, haven't we? Signed by your Queen Victoria herself. Railway is a powerful thing to own. Doctor agreed. The railway company sent a man to convince the chiefs to let them build on the track on the Blackfoot land. Blackwell legacy on the mind. Crowfoot, she's one of the chiefs. He agreed, but only in return for a stake in the company. By the time the track was laid, he owned the majority stake. We do have a gun on us. That is a problem. That is a good point. Do you operate it as well? Worried about your safety, eh? Nobody's born knowing how to run a railway. We went to the guilds just like anyone else. I'm sure they are. I agreed. Her eyes narrowed even more. She made no further remark. Steam whistle sounded twice, and I hurried back to Fog as we pulled out of the station. Yeah, the Blackwell Confederacy, yeah. The train began its journey. It was only once we were underway, we realized the terrible truth. The train, although comfortable, was slow, no doubt because of the wild landscape. The full journey across Canada was going to take over a week. Okay, so that would get us to day 60. Maybe it would be good to try to pin south a little bit. Hard to say. Take over a week, not including times for changes. We began to consider most seriously the options of stopping halfway, finding other ways forward instead. All right, we'll definitely have a big look in Calgary here. And maybe take the southern path here, which is, I guess, what we were going to do anyway. Because that goes to Winnipeg, right? From Calgary, perhaps we can go south to Omaha, Chicago, or best case, it shoots over straight to Toronto, and then we figure it out from there, right? I think that could be the way to go. Ride a moose. Oh, that'd be amazing. Monsieur Fogg and I were in a shared carriage and found my eye caught by a large-shouldered fellow traveling with his diminutive wife. The man told me he was a prospector. He'd moved up to Canada during the last gold rush. Where did you travel from? I inquired politely. Iowa. he replied with a disarming grin. From cornfields to goldfields, or that was the plan anyway. His wife stood up suddenly, looking distinctly green, and the man ushered her away with an apologetic look. I settled back into my seat to watch the Canadian countryside speed by, grateful that I was not prone to train sickness. Right? Fog. The large prospector tried to catch my attention as the train pulled into Calgary, half carrying his wife in his arms. We're getting off here. My wife's feeling too ill to keep traveling. Do you want our tickets to Regina? He said, and he held out them out to me. Seems a shame for them to go to waste. So that would be to continue up north, by which we would take the slow train track to Winnipeg. Upside of it, we can take it down to Chicago. I think for time's sake, we get off here at Calgary. Thank you all the same. No worries, friend. Best of luck wherever you're headed. I'm gonna stick with that. Again, time is of the essence here. Calgary. Walrus tooth. Oh, yes. Sea dog and soldier types. Cool. Is anything sold well here? 160. We're definitely not going to end up valuable here, as well as Toronto and Regina. All right, I'll sell the conch cell. I'm going to sell... Do we sell the gun? Or do we hold on to it? I mean, we're going to end up, I hope, in Toronto, one of these three places. So I'll maybe hold that here. How much is the rum? Not too much. Walrus tooth, where is this good for? Ottawa. If we end up in Ottawa, it could be good. That's a hondo, though. We'll take the rum. We'll take that. One rum. One rum, please. Hey, Mike. That's it. Back to Winnipeg. Okay. Let's enjoy a little planning sesh here. We can get to Toronto on Thursday, or get to Winnipeg on Thursday. Okay. To Toronto. Onwards to Toronto. Hotel. Monster Fog and I've been banned from ever returning to the town of Calgary. Why? Parlez bleu. Parbleu. Yeah, French. I am veritably seething from the injustice as I write this faithful record of what transpired. Most dreadful misunderstanding. The kind that can haunt a man for years afterwards. It began with a punch. I neither threw the punch nor was I in its path. But I did, unfortunately, happen across the alley in time to witness it. It was 3 against 1, an unfair fight. And the victim went down with a hard thump, blood spraying on the wall. Caught a glimpse of pain in those dark eyes before they shuttered close. The man's assailants began to kick the prone man's form. Of all 4 of the men were First Nations. The victim was dressed in a coat, jacket, cowboy boots, hair cropped clothes, while his attackers were in traditional clothes, hair braids under their thick hoods. I admit, I cursed under my breath at the sight before drew my gun like a true American. Oh dear, what do we... I don't know. We'll shout at them. I mean, we could run. I mean, the guy is cooked, but... We'll yell. We'll do a little yell. Excuse me, sir. Or many sirs. Meanest one in the bunch aimed a particularly vicious kick at the fallen man's head. Launched myself at the man while the foot was in the air. Threw myself over the injured man. Felt the kick that was meant for him land squarely between my ribs. Rough hands pulled me up and shoved me back. The fight was on. I managed to distract them from the prone target and held my own remarkably well against their attacks. But it was 3 against 1. And again, only a matter of time before they took me down. I did not let despair weaken me. Was I not valet extraordinaire? I would not go down without a fight. A sharp whistle interrupted my musings and stilled the fist flying at my head. Well, 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 an American accented voice drawled. Looks like we got here just in time. Stupid of you boys to go after one of my interpreters. Beat up a white man besides. You'd be strung up for that alone. I bristled a little bit. The racist implication. The men were in the wrong for attacking 3-on-1, but not because their victim is white. I did not care to find myself in solidarity of one such opinion. One with such opinions. But I did rather need to be rescued. I decided to defend my attackers. I mean, this is a little bit of a pickle. Let's get one thing straight. Probably not the time and the place to do this, but... Maman had raised a fool, but an honorable one. I crossed my arms, raised an eyebrow. You have it wrong, monsieur. This is all a misunderstanding. 3 rough-looking white fellows chuckled and rolled their eyes. Goddamn Canadians, one of them muttered. No idea how to treat the natives. Goddamn Americans. Show a little respect. Narrowed my eyes. This was their land first, was it not? My erstwhile attackers were looking at me with outright amazement on their faces, though I have no idea it was because they thought me brave or unutterably stupid. Probably the latter. I glared at the American in the lead, daring him to make something of my words. The First Nations man nearest to me elbowed my rather tender ribs. Shut your mouth, white man. You're going to get us all killed. They wouldn't dare. There's no real good answer here. Man sighed and pushed a long braid from his face. Be on your guard. These men are not to be trusted, he said, explaining the situation. The Americans turned out to be whiskey traders. The fellow who'd been jumped was a Cree man they used as a go-between. Apparently they had been trying to sell liquor illegally. Some of the First Nation teenagers at the nearby reservation and had been caught out by a group of concerted and angry parents. What's wrong with a little liquor, eh? It's a very Ricky response. Yeah, what's wrong with a little liquor? Or they should not buy liquor in the first place. So this will make the people I'm defending mad. This will make the people who kind of are running the situation mad. Let's say this. They come and sell their poison to our children and young people, and they profit off of destroying lives. Or maybe I had that backwards. Either way, tough situation. Shake their heads. Bottled whiskey is more dangerous than a fist or a bullet. Looked at the go-between staggering to his feet. Got my own family to worry about, he said gruffly. Gotta make a living. Whiskey's gonna flow one way or another. The hard-eyed American in the lead cleared his throat. Enough talk. He drew his pistol from his holster and settled into a shooter's stance. Time to settle this. 3 more brown corpses won't even raise an eyebrow. What? Can you die in this game? I keep looking up here and being like, is this at 6:30 a.m.? What a way to wake up. Calgary, what a town. I'm a little bit... Because I do not want to perish. We're so deep in this game. This would be such a sad way to lose, I presume, a run on this. I mean, alright, let's jump in front of him. We'll try doing it. What about a white man's corpse, monsieur? Move away, friend. This is your last warning. Don't do this. I cried, and he shot me. Well, he would have if the Cree youth had not shoved me away and collapsed on top of me. Oh my goodness. Got me in the first half there. Thanks. The youth cast me an unreadable look and scrambled to his feet. He ran over to the whiskey traders as fast as his feet would carry him, and I don't blame him in the least. But something tumbled out of his pocket and landed into the dirt, a rectangular device blinking with green and yellow lights. Slipped it into my pocket, deciding I would examine it more at a more opportune time. Whiskey traders marched away with their charge, and by the time I dusted myself off the other men had made themselves scarce as well. All that remained was yours truly, in an alley with the bullet shells and blood spattered in the dirt, which was, of course, when the Northwest Mounted Police arrived and arrested me. Okay, shout out to the Mounties. In a little bit late. Released in a matter of hours, with a stern warning, though I protested my innocence. I gave Fogg a full accounting of my actions despite the tightening of his lips. I think that we have quite worn out our welcome in this city. It's time to be on our way. Okay. The mystery device should fetch a good price in Quebec City. Great. 770 arrives Thursday. Let's go. Via the Bella Rose. Go. I didn't have time to read that, so I hope nothing bad has happened. Thief! I didn't want to engage anymore with these people. Airshipped piled the busy route from Calgary to Toronto regularly. For us, it was simply a matter of picking a likely-looking ship and a reliable captain. I probably could have waited, but we'll top up Fog. Why not? We took passage aboard the Bella Rose. Savarkar at Motic. Boy. No doubt brought over to Canada by British forces and then sold off when the army withdrew. Our engines were good and our hull solid, which is all we required for our purposes. I settled into the cabin I shared with Fogg and let the whir of the engines lull me to sleep. But I felt a buzzing in my pocket when I climbed into my berth. I rummaged around, curious. Pulled out the mysterious vice the Cree youth had dropped. Its lights were flicking orange and blue, strange but harmless enough. Oh, but how wrong I was. Oops. Well, we'll flip that hopefully very soon. I'm at your service, Money. We are quite comfortable, but you have been the most cautious so far. 56, we must keep going. Are we gonna run into somebody being like, oh, somebody's trying to shoot down the airship here? I awoke in a strange compartment with my hands bound to a bedpost. Not the first time I had woken up in such a manner. Okay. Looked around for Fogg and saw him in similar straits. Stretched out among the berth for mine. Did not look at all sanguine. And I fancy I heard him mutter a curse under his breath. Apartment door split open, admitting a tall, imposing woman in her prime. I'm Winona Fire Thunder of the Oglala Lakota tribe. She threw the mysterious device, now utterly at my feet. And you are whiskey traders, come to open a new market, aren't you? We are no tradesmen, but gentlemen. I tried to give her a haughty look. Not an easy feat in bondage, but needs must be when the devil ties one up, as they say. Her face remained unmoved. Then why do you have one of our stolen signal devices? That's how we tracked you down. Should have never picked up the damn thing. That is true. When we stole it, so this I feel like doesn't have a lot of weight to it. On that we must agree. Anyway, save your breath for the council. They're the ones who will decide your fate. Who is this council? We will reach the council tomorrow. I would get a good night's sleep if that's even possible for the likes of you. And then she swept out, leaving Fogg and I with her increasingly unpleasant ponderings. Relations with Fogg have strengthened somewhat. Really? Okay, well this is a problem. That is a problem. A little bit of a detour. We've reached our destination, she said gruffly. I looked out the observation windows and saw nothing but clouds. The woman laughed as we gained altitude. Look closer. Could not help but gasp. Before you is the Kawoka Othunwe, the floating village. The clouds resolved themselves into vast strips of silk, patent-modeled blue and white camouflage. To camouflage the floating village from observation below. Amazing. Yeah, I saw vast engines churning behind the camouflage, straining to keep the massive bulk afloat. The largest were 4 engines beneath the central mass, clearly the main propulsion system of the entire settlement. But that was the most astonishing thing. As we drew closer, we realized it was no singular floating village, but rather made up of a churning living mass of airships, all interlinked and docked together around the central mass. It was an ever-changing tumult of a settlement floating improbably among the clouds. It's pretty cool. I'm a bit worried about a number of things, but I was grateful to witness such a miracle. Indeed, I could even barely bring to mind the unfortunate circumstances that have brought me here. Fire Thunder's stony expression cracked a little as the airship docked with the floating village, a complex maneuver of careful navigation. Several wickedly sharp docking hooks, and so it seemed to me rare. Welcome to my home, he said, and shoved me down to the gangplank. Yeah, let's converse, I guess. Let's try to sweeten it up a little bit. Quebec City. Reykjavik would be great to know. Snowden. Okay. I was gonna say, if we can somehow get out here, this might get us home, which is good. Snowden's not that far away, and we can also get to London from there too, it looks like. If I had thought Madame Fire Thunder's imposing, or wasn't imposing, then the members of the council were downright terrifying. Each one of them had dark, intelligent eyes set in wrinkled faces, and many wore elaborate headdresses of bead and animal horn. I watched Madame Fire Thunder as introductions were made. Her face softened when one of the many Sioux tribes counselors introduced himself. Perhaps there was a resemblance between them? These are whiskey traders, she announced. I found them as I promised I would. I remained silent. The Iroquois counselor gave me a small nod of respect. What do you say of this accusation? I told the truth, even though it seemed improbable even to my own ears. I stuttered to the end of my tale and looked around at the impassive faces of the council. I began to wish I had lied, searched for a pair of ears, my sympathy, and fancied I saw a glint of it here or there, or so I hoped. What would they do to us if we were judged guilty? They conferred for a moment in several languages and unfamiliar dialects, flying through the air before the Cree counselor stood to deliver the verdict. I figured truth, you know what I mean? I'm just gonna tell you what went down. Everybody goofed up a little bit here, you know what I mean? I probably should have gone Fog. I feel like Fog's got a way about it. We'll see. We find you not guilty. Holy cow. I'm gonna take a drink of water after that. I was actually a bit worried. I was like, man, we got so far. Me in particular owe you an apology. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, listen, no hard feelings. Did we jump to some conclusions? Yes. Should I have not taken that thing? Yes, it's all good. Misunderstanding. An understandable miscommunication. No hard feelings. It's good of you to say so, she said grudgingly, leading us to a spacious hut in the center of the floating village. I hope these accommodations will suffice till we reach Quebec City in 2 days' time. That's the closest for it's safe for us to dock. What do you mean safe? Oh, fair enough. We are tribespeople who refuse to live by the white man's law. We are hunted wherever we go. Quebec is one of the few sympathetic cities that trade with us, so we cannot risk anywhere closer. And with that, she bowed low, left us to settle into our new, unfamiliar accommodations aboard this miraculous floating village, which I was, yeah, eager to explore the morrow. Okay, so, I mean, we were aiming for Toronto. We were aiming perhaps even for New York, but ultimately we got to Quebec City. We started heading here to Winnisk, and that could have been a problem, but the path is clear now. Which is good. Onwards and eastwards. Converse. tour of the floating village, but I decided to, oh no, we want to take this. Where shall we begin? Right here. She motioned at me to follow her as she spoke. Fogg declined. This is the central reservation where we grow some of the food required to feed the population. Most of the important landmarks, too. The Council House, the Rainwater Reservoir, many members of the Sioux tribes that live here, as well as honored guests such as yourself. Who built this place? A mix of Dakota and Lakota engineers, working as American slaves. He looked away, jaw tightening. This place was a prototype. Floating reservation. A floating reservation, somewhere convenient to dump our peoples after they stole our land, but we seized it from our masters and made it our own. I mean, this thing's crazy. What a crazy situation happening here. How long have you been free? 10 years now. Occasionally we sneak back over the border on rescue missions, but mostly we are a spark of defiance, a story to be told in the dark when all hope seems lost. I returned to Fogg later in the day, my head rattling with my Fire Thunder's works, the idea of hope kindling in the dark. Day 60, Monsieur Fogg murmured that night in his sleep. And still some distance yet to travel. I mean, I'm hoping that 2 grand is going to get us to the end here. It's like a tot of rum. Quebec City is connected by Ottawa by road. Okay. Don't know if that's going to help us necessarily. Phineas Fogg, now in debt? What? What? Okay, well, that's going to be a problem if that's true. Stopped a fair distance away from Quebec City. A lone airship detached with a mechanical grind and sailed grandly towards the city's airship dock. Are we being announced? I asked with some asperity. We're making sure it's safe, she said seriously. They'll give us the signal to approach. Anyone you know on board? My cousin. Her voice grew softer. The Northwest is unsettled. There are rumors of Cree and Assiniboine rebellion. And I hear Louis Rel is up to his old tricks as well, stirring up in the Métis. The council thinks it may come to war with the government. Do you think you can win such a war? The Kawoka Athunwe could be used as a weapon of war. The grimace of on her face showed that she thought of what she thought of that. But it would be a slaughter, especially as the Blackfoot Confederacy has allied with the government for their damned railway. Just then, a flare went up over Quebec City. It was safe to approach. Strengthened. Very good. Madame Fire Thunder watched over us until we disembarked, waving off a small airship with a smile. We landed shortly afterwards, and a First Nations woman in a red jacketed uniform of the Northwest Canadian Mounted Police checked our papers and ushered us into the hangar, declaring, "Welcome to Quebec City, gentlemen." Allotted this time in 1800s steampunk dollars. All right, so what are our options here? We can head to Ottawa for 240. 2 grand. Oh boy. Took a silver seal to London. This is a tough one. 2 grand is really steep, right? And the thing is, when we get to Reykjavik, are we going to be able to do anything? We've got less than 20 days left. I don't really know what to do here. We'll take the market. Could we sell something here? Finish our cold climate set. I'm not really too worried about that. Heavy storm set. Purple trousers. I think we're done with the dusty road. I don't know how many railways we're gonna encounter from here on out. We're not going to get back to San Pedro anytime soon. That is also for certain. Valuable in Ottawa. We probably don't need these papers anymore, but it doesn't really matter, I suppose. This is quite a pickle. I'll explore. Okay, an alternative way, perhaps a cheaper way. Unlike Paris, which was bisected by the Seine. Seine? I always mix that up. Quebec sprawled over the north bank of the St. Lawrence River. There's something about a city on a river that fills me with yearning and hearing French, even a strange, lilting sort of French, spoken about me that did not help me in the least. Visited the Citadel. Had been built to fortify the then British-held city against the American attack during the time of the Revolutionary War. Quebec had the only citadel in all of North America. I marveled at the staterooms and their luxurious grandeur. They had no doubt housed colonial governors and even perhaps some visiting monarchs. Fogg insisted I take a cup of tea with him, though I had barely placed the cup to my lips when he snapped open his ledger. Very good. East? Can I save? How does the saving work here? Okay, last saved in Quebec City at 4:26 p.m. I'm having a look at the time. I know I'm going to have to bounce out of here at some point. So I think we have scrub time. Yeah, we've got the full 20. Okay, we will pick this up in a second session. This game was awesome. I cannot wait to go back, and I know we're very close, but like, we also might not be, as virtue of, we got to Canada, and I was like, you know, we're almost there. The other option, I suppose, that I could do here is we could keep pressing on, and we could bank the grubs for Tuesday. I might do it. Single session sounds very nice. Just see. I do have a few things happening after this, so I'm just kind of bouncing that out there. Yeah, let's continue for now. The market we've dealt with, Quebec City. So what's the situation here? 25. Airship. I mean, that's incredible. 25. I mean, we aren't going to get all the way over there, but maybe we can kind of... I think we bank it for the money's worth. I think that's the plan, because it's going to be expensive to take the big jump. Anything else that we can maybe do here? I'm going to sell harmonica. Wallet. We don't need the papers anymore. And that'll get us down to 1. It'll save us a little bit of money, maybe. 1 bag. Travel light. Okay. We passed an anxious night. With our 80-day deadline looming, every sunset seemed to carry extra weight. He is good. We could always use money, but I think more conversation could be good. Quickest way to London is to go via Reykjavik. Okay, I think we knew that. Reykjavik. It's $2,000 though. How much does it take to go here? This is the thing. Go ahead. I think taking the airship and then just, if we can get to Reykjavik from there and just like save ourselves like 1,000 pounds, I think that would be great. We took cheap passage on the battered old airship heading to Pick up 3 months worth of readings from a meteorological outpost on the southern tip of Greenland. Any chance of bears? I asked. Polar bears, yes, she said, then chuckled outright at my obvious look of horror. The indignities I've suffered upon this helter-skelter journey. Verse. Greetings. Tell me about the place. Reykjavik. I wouldn't believe it. Oh, no. Okay, that's a problem. We reached the outpost as the blizzard outside intensified. I could barely see the compact buildings through the sleet. Feared the pilot would miss the tether, and we would simply keep drifting into the winds. The pilot's aim was true, either skill, practice, or luck. The airship's hook caught the outpost's tether on the first try, pulling us to the waiting dock. Okay. Okay, sleep and explore. Fine. The outpost itself was barren and cheerless, apparently manned by a single hardy soul who kept watch over the instruments and recorded meticulous notes. What's this place called? He shrugged. Simply the outpost. Who'd bother giving it a name? The person who lives here? I retorted. No one lives here. It's not fit for someone's home. It's just a stop on the way to somewhere, even if you're the poor bastard who's tired to stop here for a year, or for half a year. Speaking of which, pilot opened an inner door and gestured for me to enter. I stepped through. Saw an outline of a man lit by a glow of a bank of instruments. I cleared my throat, and the man gave a start. He turned and gave me his disconcertingly pale green eyes. Visitors, he sneered, with the same disdain as another man might say, murderers or roaches might say. What do you want? I thought only to introduce myself. Electric Dragon. I only thought to introduce myself, I replied. It seemed courteous to do so. The man exhaled heavily. He brushed a hand through his unruly blonde hair. Please forgive me, my manners have frozen here in the blizzard. I am Viti Jokinen, keeper of this outpost. Join me for a cup of tea? I agreed eagerly, not least because the prospect of something warm to ward off the chill. If only we had met on better circumstances. I do feel like we may have become friends. And perhaps more than that. I take my friendship when I can, for we never are in the same place for very long, though I feel like we found even a brief acquaintance can forge a true bond. And so we spent a surprisingly pleasant few hours in conversation as the crew refueled the airship. It was with genuine sorrow that I bid him farewell, and I prepared to embark on the next leg of our frostbitten journey. Okay. Okay. Tell me this is cheap, huh? 34 pounds. Deals. The blizzard was even more howling and wild as the airship departed from the outpost, and I shivered at the thought of the distance we had to travel. Converse. Would you like some rum? Poetry? Money? We are well provided for. You've been most shrewd with your decisions. Okay, I'm glad the bank thinks otherwise, but thank you very much. Yeah, that's right. Wolf's air. That's it. We drifted across the top of the world in relative silence. Below, wars were fought, hearts were broken, curses uttered. Lives began and ended, but all we saw were the cresting waves and the endless drifting ice. I asked the captain for his thoughts, and he only shrugged. This is home, he replied. I heard the rest of the world is a bit warmer. Perhaps one day I will go on holiday there. My master paced the narrow decks and said nothing. And clearly the wager hung heavy on his mind. How small London would seem when we finally arrived, now that we had seen the world from this lofty height. And slightly. Converse. Greetings, Captain. Reykjavik. London. Snowdon. Lisbon. Goodbye. The weather cleared as we neared our destination, the weather of Boxafloy shone an impossibly bright blue underneath us as the low, colorful buildings of Reykjavik swept along the curve of the shoreline. The past days of tumult and blizzard seemed almost a dream. No departures today. We should explore. I'm taking your word for it, buddy. It was a quiet town with few inhabitants, but still had the feeling of bustling center of commerce. The flag of Denmark fluttered above the trade hall, declaring this place an outpost. But of all the outposts, colonies, and adjuncts of the great nations we had seen, it seemed the most comfortable in its skin. Comfort most derived from its natural hot springs, which we tried out, an open area behind a fine fish restaurant. Monsieur Fogg sat on one end and myself on the other, and we breathed in gulps of steam with deep, satisfying sighs. They should fit these in Hyde Park, I exclaimed. He shook his head. I think they are heated from underground thermals, he replied. In London, they would require coal. But in London, there are better uses. I do believe it's the first time I heard him say, even in a roundabout fashion, that any place had its own elements of value. Plan. London in how long? A grand? Yes. Tomorrow at 8 a.m. Okay. I think we did it, right? Hotel? Another night, and the clock was forever ticking upwards. Before the night ended, get them all set. Depart. London. Oh, excuse me, I said London. Embark, yes. On the Silver Seal. The Silver Seal was a gaiac imported from the Ottoman Empire. I mean, as long as it doesn't take 11 days. How long will it take? I asked the captain. 3 days. Good. Can't be done any faster. 3 days seemed like a long time. I could see from Monsieur Fogg's expression that he thought as much as well. Folks, I think we did it. What is your wish? Let's talk about the journey. Day 69, as I'm sure you're aware, the only few days remaining. London. Got nothing against you personally, but I rarely talk to servants. Okay. Munich? Magnifying glasses. I mean, now we've got this is a long trip still, so many things can still derail us, but we at least can see the end now. The ocean tore beneath us. I enjoyed talking to no one. There was nothing I needed to know, no one to charm, flatter, or beguile into giving us aid. There was only the wind and the time, and we could control neither. Make us go faster, if you would. Let's talk to the boiler attendant. Faster, you say? You're crazy, you would explode. We want no risk, no danger. And I promise you we'll be in London in 2 more days. We had to talk to keep him happy. Fog. Okay, we're above, what, Scotland now. Fog looked out of the observation deck windows with perfect calm, as though we were not. With every passing moment, drawing closer and closer to London. My nerves were in shreds, and I was nearly chewing the rails with anticipation. I spent the remaining time. I don't know, embarking on the writing of this account. Though I found already the details were in our early adventure, it had grown vague and indistinct. Fog. Oh. We tethered at the airshop dock in Hyde Park and felt for the first time in 71 days the feel of English soil underneath our shoes. At long last, we had returned to London, and in time to win the wager. Ooh, return! I seized my master by the collar and threw him into the steam carriages idling on the banks of the Serpentine in Hyde Park. The Reform Club, I shouted. Yeah. Grease the palm. And you'll have another 50 when we arrive. Now drive. There's no need for such unseemingly haste, my master noted. But I was a man possessed. That's probably true. You don't want to keep burning money, I suppose. Comforting and familiar as they flashed past our well-traveled eyes, the carriages were mostly horse-drawn, gas lamps, rather than electricity lit. As we raced down Pall Mall, the carriages barely shuddered to a steam-hissing stop before I dragged my master from his seat up onto the steps onto the imposing door of the Reform Club. I released him only when we reached the great saloon where my master's erstwhile friends stood from their chairs, gaping in an attitude of great shock. Monsieur Fogg only straightened a little and said in his calm voice, "Gentlemen, here I am." The room erupted into cheers. AKC, it's your game. It's the game you submitted a while back, I should say. Welcome in. Yeah, this is my first time through. I'm very much enjoying it. Really, really cool. The room erupted into cheers. Where did the crowd come from? Had they followed us from inside the street? I had scarcely noticed them. I realized, as the spell had suddenly broken, my master had won his wager. 20,000 pounds. With 4,000 we had begun with, the debt built up from the banks along the way. In our remaining funds, it was a profit of over 11,000. Hardly a meager sum. My heart began to beat again as I saw for the first time the crowds would force their way into the club to witness the momentous occasion. A journalist in a dark blue bonnet caught my eye. You must be the loyal valet. I do not believe we've been introduced. All of London has been feverishly following Phileas Fogg's progress in the papers. She swept her gaze over me and scribbled furiously in her notebook. Your master will be in tomorrow's headline, or I'll eat my hat. It is a fine hat. Then I'll be glad to not eat it. Pushed my way through to Monsieur Fogg, who had nearly been swallowed by congratulatory crowds. We got there. You've won the bet, monsieur, I told him. As though saying it once more would make it real, and then repeated the same sentiment for good measure. Fogg pressed my hand warmly and did not remark even once upon the impropriety of my gesture. Indeed, though his cool glaze did not so much as waver or soften, I believe he welcomed the chance to shake my hand. Any gentleman would be fortunate to call you his valet. You've been a worthy companion to me besides, Fogg said, and I knew from him, there would be no higher praise. Mr. Fogg, Mr. Fogg, the blue-bonneted journalist cried, interrupting our conversation. What's next for the great adventurer Phileas Fogg and his loyal valet? Was it passport? I've been avoiding saying it because I forgot already. My master looked at me. I returned the glance. I've always wondered what is at the center of the earth. I looked around at faces assembled. Of the assembled crowd, quirked an eyebrow. Anyone care to make a wager? Fogg refrained from rolling his eyes. I believe, he said with great deliberation, that tonight I will have supper and go to bed. It grows late. Yes, Monsieur Fogg. Your journey around the world is complete. 71 days, despite bank delays. Reykjavik diversion and airlift by pirates in Europe. Pretty good. Reykjavik diversion. I mean, it was more of a Quebec City diversion than it was Reykjavik, but I think that ended up. I think that was a blessing in disguise because we were. I think the trip from New York or from Toronto or wherever it might have been would have been a little bit more expensive. That's my thought. We visited 20 cities, over 25,000 miles. Love the airships. 11 grand, just under 12 grand. And a lot of good times had by all, and also we were nearly shot. Character, courageous. Manner, flamboyant. Valeting, remarkable. Relations, comfortable. Very good. By unknown. Random dink down to the island. Yeah, it's kind of an interesting one. So yeah, I don't know if we can go through this quick for anybody who joined late. But yeah, we went from, oh, it's not going to be in here, but you can kind of see here. So we went through London, kind of went through Germany. We worked our way through Poland, up through basically a lot of Russia. Russia was a big part of this trip. I made a mistake out here and missed the train heading out over here. So you can see we took a little bit of a detour. Kind of, I think we hit China and then scooped up back into Russia again. And then through, here's the dink, through Japan down to here when I realized that I think this trip was going to be way too expensive to get to San Francisco directly. So we went through Manila and Honolulu, San Francisco, and then Canada treated us, I was going to say well. I mean, eventually was the best way to go through Canada, but we did have a rough go of some of Canada here before going through Greenland and then Iceland and then down to London. Pretty interesting thing. Started off, so yeah, it's jazz traveling. You know, we're just kind of feeling it. Cool. Good game. Obviously very replayable. I would be very much down to play more of that, I would say. So I'll call it there. We'll clip that out for the first play. I do have actually some time to play some Tales, so why don't we get some cooldown grubs? I think we've earned it.